Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11. It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Welcome into Sports 56 Mornings on this Hump Day edition, the Wednesday, March 18th, 2026 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Jay Ham with you, broadcasting live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. The Floor Model Spa sale continues. It's been going on for quite some time. You can take advantage of all the great deals at Family Leisure. They are located at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. The weather is changing for the better. Right now, 42 degrees. Still a little chilly out there because it feels like 36, but not as bad as the last two mornings. And it's going to warm up today. We're going to have a nice 65-degree day, mostly cloudy early, then sunshine for the afternoon. Tonight, a few clouds, 47 degrees. And then tomorrow, we're looking at 76 for a high. And then we get into the 80s Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with sunshine. Should be an outstanding weekend. Hope you had a great St. Patrick's Day yesterday. Lots happening in the world of sports, both locally, around the nation, and around the world. And we're here to talk about it on the program as we do each and every day. First of all, the WBC championship game last night. It was a good one. Unfortunately, not a good result for the Americans as we fall to the Venezuelans 3-2. The NCAA tournament is now officially underway. We had the first two games of the first four last night in Dayton. Two more games tonight before things go bonkers tomorrow and Friday, two of the best days of the year in sports. We'll talk Memphis Tigers basketball. Ed Scott and Penny Hardaway will meet the media today, but Ed Scott yesterday, appearing on a local show, talked about the reasons for keeping Penny Hardaway and where they will go, what direction they're moving in, what they plan to do here very quickly at the University of Memphis when it pertains to the basketball program. We'll talk Grizzlies. They are back in action tonight against the Denver Nuggets. The Grizzlies have lost 8 straight games, and there's more news on the injury front that we'll update you about. NFL had a big trade yesterday and some other moves that we'll discuss on the program. Memphis tonight in the spotlight of the world of softball as they will take on the big bad Oklahoma Sooners in a one-off game over at South Campus, I should say, at the University of Memphis at the Memphis Tigers softball complex. DeMichael Cole will join us as he does every week to talk Grizzlies and the NBA at 8:05. At 8:25, Jerry Palm on the NCAA basketball tournament. And 9:25, all things Memphis Tigers hoops with Parth Upadhyay. We'll take your calls and texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. And what a way to start the show, Eli, as our good friend, loyal listener, Raider Corey, drops off all types of breakfast items from Chick-fil-A to start the day. How about that?
Yeah, yes, indeed. Absolutely. Thank you very much to Corey.
Corey.
Dropped off some chicken minis and some hash browns and some orange juice. And, good way to start the day. Good way to get the day going.
Breakfast is important. I don't know if you know that.
I don't normally eat breakfast, but if somebody's going to drop off some chicken minis, I'm not going to say no.
You're not going to say no to
I'm
that.
not going to say no. And the hash browns. One thing I do like is hash browns.
Well, thank you, Corey. Really appreciate that. Jay Ham, how are you this morning?
I'm much better than Corey drops food out to us. Shout out to Corey for that, though. Most definitely.
Have you dived into that yet? Or dove into that yet?
I got a couple chicken minis. I didn't want to be too greedy, of course.
There you go.
I'm
be greedy. Guy. Be greedy. There's plenty out there.
Yeah, I'm a team guy, though, so I'm cool.
Yeah, I had, sometimes I eat a little bit in the morning. Sometimes I don't. It all depends if my stomach's feeling bad from the night before. So I grabbed an energy bar and I ate the energy bar, and I always bring along a piece of fruit, whether it be an orange, apple, or this time a banana. So right now I'm a little bit full, but in about an hour and a half, I get real hungry. Now, I don't know if that'll still be around, but it's not like we got a ton of people coming in the next hour and a half into the building. So hopefully it will still be around. All right. I hate to start with the bad news, but the Americans, the US of A, the big bad bash hitters on that team of Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber and right down the list. Congratulations to the Venezuelans, who have a pretty darn good team, but not as good, not as star-studded as the Americans, as the Dominicans, as the Japanese, but they are the WBC champions. They beat the Americans 3-2. It was just a tournament in which the Americans really did not see that offense flow like we all expected. The first couple of games were fine, but they produced 3 hits last night. And if it were not for Bryce Harper's 2-run home run that tied it, which brought the dramatics to that game, we're talking probably getting shut out, right, on 2 hits. Harper had the big home run to tie it, but the Venezuelans come right back in the 9th inning, and they put up a run, and they hang on and win it 3-2. Great relief pitching by the Venezuelans. Nolan McLean, the starter for the United States, was okay. He gave up 2 runs. That was it, but the Americans could not match. And so last time it was the Japanese that knocked off the Americans. This time it's the Venezuelans.
Yeah, I mean, that offense. And the funny thing, going into last night, I was watching the game with some people, and I was like, to me, I thought they should drop Bryce Harper in the lineup because Bryce Harper has been awful throughout the World Baseball Classic. Luckily, I guess they didn't because he was the only one that could do anything as he gets 2 of the 3 hits, including the home run. The lineup, other than Bryce Harper, goes 1 for 26.
Oh.
I mean, you look at Aaron Judge, 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. Kyle Schwarber, 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. When your 3-4 hitters are striking out 6 times, that's a problem. And I mean, that lineup is essentially all stars up and down the lineup, and to only be able to get 3 hits is just that's not good enough. Bottom line, but you know, it went back to earlier in this when they were struggling with men in scoring position, things like that, and you knew that as it went along, you got to be able to come up with big hits and big situations, and they really weren't able to do that. And once again last night, just not even able to get any hits and really even threaten that much at all. And you get the game tying home run and think, okay, maybe they're somehow going to figure out a way to do this, but good on Venezuela to come right back, and Eugenio Suarez with the double. And I mean, to watch them and the celebration and their fans again, their fans are amazing. I mean, but just how much it meant to them, to that team. It was cool to watch that, although it would have been much cooler to watch America celebrate.
I'm not going to sit here and say that it meant more to the Venezuelans than it would have been to the Americans if they had won. I don't believe that for a second. Those guys are putting in that effort to win, and anything less is a disappointment. So I think if they won, there would have been the jubilation for the Americans. But yeah, listening to Suarez and others, oh my gosh, I felt great for them, but I felt horrible for us in losing that game. Now, they're crying all the way to the bank. They're getting ready for another Major League Baseball season. Certainly, this doesn't compare to playing in the World Series, and some would say it doesn't even compare to playing in the Olympic Games, and we'll see how that goes. But still, I don't want to poo-poo the result because they lost the game. I think it was very important, and on the international stage, the Americans come up short once again. Now, I will say this, and this was the truth. I'm sitting there with my wife. My wife would attest to this if she's listening. They're down 2-0 and Harper's at the plate. And I go, Mary, he's going to hit a bomb here and tie it. And I'm going to tweet it out. I don't get it fast enough, so I don't want to do it after the fact there, but I will say it after the fact today. And he hit the bomb. Once he hit the home run, let's be honest, guys. Did any of you think the Americans were losing that game? Even though it was only tied, did you really think the Americans were losing? The momentum completely switched.
I thought there was a good chance they still
I didn't think so. I thought 100% the Americans were winning.
One guy who could get a hit.
Well, I thought they were in their bullpen. Rodriguez was great for them. And I thought the Americans were going to win. What about you, J-Ham?
It was kind of like a basketball situation where it's like, you've been missing free throws and you left that door open. I felt like that door was left open, the whole time. And I didn't have a good feeling about it, and then I had reason for that.
A lot of times in basketball, people say, if they could just get the lead, then the momentum switches and that team will end up winning. They didn't get the lead, but they tied the game up, and you saw the momentum completely switch, and the Americans were going crazy, and then that quickly they give up the run. All credit in the world to the Venezuelans. So there you go. That's it. It is over. The WBC, the Americans come up short, and now we're right around the corner from the start of the Major League Baseball season. We're all fired up for that.
And I don't know what there may have been a situation where they were only going to use him if a save situation presented itself.
Yes.
But to me, I would have went to Mason Miller in the 9th inning because obviously there was never going to be a save situation at that point. It was impossible to have a save situation. So I would have went to Mason Miller in the 9th. I'm using my best reliever to get me through that, and then I'll piece it together if we go to extra innings. But it may have been their situation going in where they said he was available, but it may have only been like a save situation, and that's the only way we're going to pitch him.
Oh, that's exactly right. He said that, Mark DeRosa, after the game. He had spoken to Padres officials, and the consensus was that unless they had the lead and he was coming in a save situation, they weren't bringing him in trailing or even in a tie. So that was already predetermined that wasn't going to happen for Mason Miller. Okay, we move on. The dance is on. It has begun. Some people still think Dayton, it doesn't start in Dayton. I do believe it does start in Dayton. And last night, if this is any indication of how this tournament's going to go, we're in once again for a treat because they were two extremely close results last night. The odds makers in Vegas had both those games, if I'm not mistaken, were 1.5. I talked about this on the show yesterday. It was Texas favored by 1.5, I believe, and it was
NC State was
the favorite.
At least I had Texas plus 1.5.
Okay, so it was
that much.
No, that was it then. It was one of the two where it was a 1.5 point favorite. I couldn't remember which one. And then the same deal with UMBC and Howard. I forget which one was the favorite, but it was both 1.5. You had a 2-point game and you had a 3-point game. Vegas is certainly in midseason form. They're in postseason form. It was Howard, the Bison from the MEAC and Washington, D.C. representing, win their first ever NCAA tournament game. UMBC, the number one killers from a few years back, right? They had a chance to tie the game. They come up short. Howard gets that win. They move on. They will play, who is it, Michigan? Yeah, number one Michigan. They will play them in the next round. The game, I think that a lot of people really was not concerned, but was wondering about how it would end up is NC State, Texas. We talked about this game yesterday a lot on the show with Sean Miller at Texas in his first year, right? Sean Miller? It's his first year at Texas. And Will Wade at NC State. And the battle of these coaches. And I said, this is a different NC State team. There's not the one guy that stands out. They always have that one guy, in my opinion, that stands out. And this one went back and forth. Texas controlled early, hung on. They get the win. Texas takes it 68-66. So they move on to take on BYU.
Yeah, both games are similar. Because you had in the first game, Howard looked like they were in control the whole time, and then UMBC comes back late, gets that opportunity, and ends up with the chance to tie it. Never doubt Howard the Duck theory. It's an undefeated theory, quite frankly, the Howard the Duck theory. But
which you created yesterday on the fly here on the show.
It's 1-0.
1-0.
It's undefeated.
You're taking them against Michigan?
You cannot argue. It's undefeated. Let me see what the line is.
If Howard the Duck comes through against Michigan, I will rip up my office pool because I took Michigan to win it all.
He said he got to see what the line is first.
I mean, how many points am I getting? I might take Howard against Michigan. The Texas NC State game was the exact opposite of any way you could have possibly expected that game to go. I mean, you had two really good offensive teams, two bad defensive teams. You had two teams that played a game earlier this year that was 102-97. For that game to be 68-66 is the strangest thing ever. For Texas to win with Dalen Swain going 2 for 9 from the field, would have never in a million years guessed that. I mean, neither team could make a three until NC State there in the last, minute and a half or whatever, started making them to get themselves back into it. But both teams shooting under 40% from the field. Like that was a bizarre game from what I would have expected it to be. But Tremont Martin, one of the veterans of college basketball in his 6th year, hits that game winner. And the coach from Texas who ran on the court like an idiot, I don't know what the hell he's doing. He got lucky that they didn't get a technical. But yeah, good for Texas. And they certainly have a chance against BYU.
Well, it was nice to see Mark in front of his grandchildren hitting that shot just inside the arc, but that was clutch. And as you said, Sean Miller was about to kill that assistant coach because he easily could have been called for a technical foul, but the officials decided not to blow the whistle. I think probably the smart move, and Texas holds on and gets the win. NC State finishes at 20-14. Now the question is, will LSU fire their coach and bring back Will Wade? We'll see what happens over the next 24, 48 hours. That's a rumor out there. I don't know. The way Will Wade answered questions the other day seems to me that he's going to stay. He's tired of moving around. He's got a good job. NC State's a good job. So I shouldn't say I'd be surprised because a lot of these coaches are nomads, but I think if I was a betting man betting on this, I would bet that Will Wade ends up staying. So tonight in the final 2 games in Dayton, in a battle of 16 seeds, you have Prairie View A&M and Lehigh. Lehigh is a 3.5-point favorite. So the lines are a little bit higher now for these 2 games compared to yesterday. This one is a 6.5-point line with Miami of Ohio and SMU in a battle of 11 seeds. Miami of Ohio, a 6.5-point underdog. Of course, Miami of Ohio went 31-0, lost in the quarterfinals of the MAC, got in as an at-large, very controversial, but I think they made the right decision. Doesn't mean I think Miami of Ohio is winning this game.
No, I do not believe Miami of Ohio will win this game.
So the winner of that game, Miami of Ohio or SMU, moves into, where we got it here?
Plays Tennessee.
They would play Tennessee. So there you go. That's the 2 games tonight in Dayton, but the NCAA tournament off to a terrific start. Also, if you're paying attention, and some of you may have bet some of the NIT games, or maybe have a little pool going in the end. JM says, not me. I bet enough with the NCAA tournament, with the women probably, with the NBA, right? After a while, you got to...
I had to call it a quits at some point.
Exactly. But I just for the sake of this discussion, I thought it was interesting. The NIT got underway. You had 2 teams from the American Conference. Both teams won last night. You had Wichita State edging Wyoming 74-70. You had Tulsa beating Stephen F. Austin 89-84 in overtime. I wasn't watching that game, but I saw the score, and Tulsa was up 3 with 2 seconds to go. So either an N1 or a 3-pointer tied it for Stephen F. Austin, but Tulsa ended up winning that game. A couple of other results from the NIT. Only 4 power conference teams are in the NIT. There were a lot of thanks but no thanks, but there was also thanks but no thanks from smaller schools like Belmont. With the coaching change, they decided they're not going to play in the NIT, and a couple of others as well. But Auburn's playing. I give them credit. They're playing, and they beat South Alabama 78-67. And how about Josh Pastner and UNLV? Weren't they under 500? UNLV?
No.
Okay, so were they at 500? What was their record? Oh, they're 18-16 now, so they were 17-16. So they were a game above 500. They got in, and they edged the Anteaters from UC Irvine 75-72. So congratulations to Josh Pastner in his first year at UNLV. Gets a win in the first round of the NIT.
The most interesting thing of the NIT last night was that I found out that Wyoming's coach is named Sundance.
No, he's not.
Sundance Wicks.
Did he have a cowboy hat on the sideline?
No, he did not. But I would never been able to guess in a million years who Wyoming's coach was. But his name is Sundance Wicks.
That is a cool name. Come on, let's be honest here. Sundance, that is great. Maybe named after the late Robert Redford, who passed away this past year. Other news from college basketball. It was reported yesterday that Brian Hodgson, the head coach at South Florida, getting ready for the NCAA tournament, turned down an offer to become the Syracuse head coach and will likely decide between Providence or staying put at USF. Now, according to the story, USF will put a lucrative offer on the table for Hodgson to stay. I'm also hearing from people in the know that there is a big financial commitment coming to South Florida for not only the basketball program, but the entire athletic department. I have been wondering why it has taken this long. To me, they are a sleeping giant. That's the team that, or school, I would be concerned if I'm Memphis when that next movement happens. I think South Florida is the first that will go to a power conference. And I think that understanding that financial commitment is going to put them in that position. It doesn't hurt to be located in Tampa, Florida. Beautiful area of the country. But Hodgson has done an incredible job. So I don't know. Syracuse, Rhode Island. I was on a text chain yesterday, and people were saying, boy, have the mighty fallen. Syracuse. I don't know if Syracuse is looked at as a blue blood or not in college basketball. But you combine what they've done lately in basketball, which is nothing, and football, which is nothing. And this is a football program that produced guys like Jim Brown and Ernie Davis and Floyd Little, and the list goes on and on and on. So I don't know what the hell's happened to Syracuse. Syracuse, to me, is more like a mid-major. But we'll see what happens with Hodgson. He's a great coach. He may even get another offer or two. Who knows?
Syracuse a mid-major in basketball?
No, it just feels like the way their athletic department is, it feels like they're a mid-major. They don't do anything anymore. Yeah, basketball has the history, but since Boeheim left, it's just, I don't know if they're not putting the money into it. They're not getting the right hires. Obviously, he was the one who was stumping for Adrian Autry, a former player. That didn't work out. It's amazing how many former players that go back to their alma mater, it just doesn't seem to work out.
Yeah, I don't know where they stand as far as the money being put into it for the roster, what kind of money they're spending on their roster. Again, that dictates a lot of it. But if Hodgson does end up staying at USF, I mean, for these schools that are looking to hire, with St. Louis locking up their coach, if he stays at USF, that'll be pretty surprising that you're getting these coaches staying where they are instead of some of these power conference jobs. But again, if you're at a place, I mean, so many of these guys are getting paid well, and if you're at a place where you believe that the money's being spent and you got a chance to compete because of the money being spent on your roster, then maybe it's kind of changing, and these guys are looking at it and saying, "Hey, I'm good right here." Less pressure.
They don't expect you to win a natty when you're coming from a mid-major. But here's the thing. This is a thorn in the Memphis Tigers' side moving forward, because we look at it as Tigers should win the conference every year. We all say that, right? And we're going to get to the Tigers here when we come back from the break. South Florida, if Hodgson stays, they may be looking at it now. We're going to be the beasts in this conference. We expect to win it every year, even though it's one time and they want it this year. But they got the right pieces in place, and they're going to have the financial commitment. That would be the one concern for me if I'm Memphis, is South Florida. I think that could be a scary proposition moving forward if Hodgson is retained and they put that financial commitment together, which I've heard they will. Also, Tim Pernetti did not get the National Football League Players Association executive director job. He was one of 3 finalists, according to reports. It didn't appear that he was going to be the guy because he didn't have that background, even though Pernetti was obviously very intelligent, is very intelligent, and wooed them certainly to be a finalist. So Tim did a lot of nice things in the interviews that they really were intrigued with him. But it ends up being J.C. Treader, who has the ties with the Players Association. So they went with him. That seemed to be the move that they were going to make all along. So Pernetti put out a statement talking about moving forward with the American Conference and his excitement about that, but also thanking people for allowing him to pursue this. He didn't put it to the side where he didn't even bring it up. We know what you were doing, and you obviously had the backing. There's nothing wrong with that. You were pursuing a job publicly. You didn't get the job, and now you're back 2 feet in and trying to run the conference. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, everybody, great news. All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch is hosting a huge truck month sale. Supplier prices for everyone. Save thousands. Nobody has more Silverados than All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Today, you can drive home in a new Equinox, a Trailblazer, a Trax, a Blazer. You can go big in a new Silverado HD. Make no payments for 90 days. You're going to love no payments all through spring into summer. Financing as low as 1.9. Why? Because your good credit deserves it. Military, first responders, you get an extra $500 bonus. Test drive one of All-Star Chevy's hottest, barely driven certified Chevys or pre-owned. You'll find in the same place at the same time, anywhere. Tahoe, Suburbans, a Chevy Express passenger van, tons of Silverados, so many pre-owned. Bring any vehicle you want to sell to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Get the most money for it today. So together, let's drive. Don't miss the truck month sale going on now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet and online at allstarautogroup.com. We're just underway on a hump day. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's a new year, and it's the first new sale at Family Leisure. It's the floor model sale happening now. Family Leisure has deep, like diving deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, even those cold plunges. How deep are these discounts? I'm not allowed to say. So if you've been putting off getting a new spa, then right now is the best time to buy. Here's one price I can let loose. You can get a spa as low as $99 a month. Plus, you can get over $1,000 in upgrades with every spa purchased. One other special deal, you can get an $8,000 spa for only $159 a month. And you know what? Family Leisure is going to throw in some LED lights and waterfalls on most models. Room's got to be made, and so do the deals at Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
To NST, it's never just another case. It's your shot at getting life back on track. Real help, real heart. 35 years and still winning. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or go online at nstlaw.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Do you know what Penny Hardaway and I have in common? We should both be in that building celebrating the best basketball players of all time. Of course, I'll have to buy a ticket to get in, but he should already be there. But seriously, we both surround ourselves with the best people we can find. We work hard to achieve our goals, and we are both among the best in our respective fields. At Fiveash, we can't win titles or get national awards, but what we can and do strive to do is give 100% of ourselves to give you the best product possible and one you can be proud of. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call at 901-367-0050, and we will do everything we can to provide you the best of everything. Fiveash Roofing. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. Taking care of families isn't new to us. It's what we've done across the Mid-South since 1958. Now celebrating 68 years in business, Choate's is still family-owned, award-winning, and committed to doing things the right way. With honest service, expert technicians, and industry-leading warranties that bring real peace of mind. To celebrate, we're offering our $68 deals. Get our $68 early bird AC tune-up special, or just need Freon to get you cooling, get $68 off per pound. If your system is struggling, don't wait for it to fail on the hottest day of the year. Upgrade today and get up to $2,000 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates on select Carrier systems. Plus, enjoy 60 months no interest financing on new HVAC systems, generators, or tankless water heaters. Call Choates at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com today. And remember, let our family serve your family.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Starting a little bit heavier in the last 15-20 minutes, pretty much on schedule, trying to push up through the Midtown area on 240, especially here up by Lamar. It's heavier than it was 15-20 minutes ago over here on I-40 at Covington Pike as that traffic builds westbound on I-40 headed towards the 101 connector there passing Watkins. Hey, the low-cost drive-through vaccine clinic, it's back this Saturday at the Humane Society of Memphis Shelby County. Check out the details right now at memphishumane.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Morning!
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Memphis Tigers AD Ed Scott and head basketball coach Penny Hardaway will meet the media today. But yesterday, Ed Scott did speak on the Gary Parrish show about his decision to retain Penny Hardaway. Here are the highlights of Dr. Scott's reasoning and then his game plan moving forward, which includes the game plan from that coach, Penny Hardaway. First of all, he said that some of the reasons why they retained Penny, and he didn't shy away from the financial commitment, that he's still owed $5.9 million over 2 years. And the school was not about to pay out $5.9 million, or even if they had reached maybe a deal for less, it's still a lot of money, and then have to pay a new coach and a new staff. There was no way that was happening. That's number one. But number two, he talked about his community impact. Penny Hardaway, no denying that he is out there in the community. He's doing things that maybe some other coaches frown upon. Number three, his overall record, 168 wins, 87 losses. Some big non-conference wins on his resume, but only one NCAA tournament victory. Those were basically the three major areas. He also said, this is Dr. Scott, that he got input from other athletic directors, like Tom Jurich, the former Louisville AD, Georgetown AD Lee Reed, who faced something similar with Patrick Ewing, even John Thompson III, Michigan AD Ward Manuel, who had to deal with something similar with Juwan Howard. None of those guys, I think, had the win-loss record that Penny Hardaway had, but certainly a very similar situation. Also, he was asked by or recommended by these people that he confided in was to talk to the donors, those who are giving their money to the program, to see where they stand, and then also to have Penny give you a game plan which we will talk about in a second. But your initial thoughts on what Dr. Scott had to say, Eli, on retaining Penny Hardaway for what will be year number 9.
The part that stood out to me was just the fact that, based off the way he talked about Penny, was that Penny realizes he needs help. He's like, he understands that he needs people to help him in a number of areas, and is hopefully willing to get those people and listen to those people to help to provide that help.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. And in the past, stubborn as he is, because he's so confident in himself that he either did not want to go down that road or refused it if it was brought up last year. And I'm not sure if it was about having this general manager type to come in and evaluate the talent. Now, there was going to be sacrificial lambs. There had to be. You couldn't roll it back after that disastrous year, so you knew the assistant coaches were gone, and we talked about that yesterday. So now it's replacing the assistant coaches and finding that general manager. And Dr. Scott indicated that he expects to have these hires within 7 to 10 days. Now, I don't think they're going to bring the GM in before the assistant coaches. I don't know that for a fact. I said yesterday, I think it's smart to have the GM part of that decision-making, but it doesn't appear that that will be the case. In other words, the GM, I think, is going to be strictly player personnel, and Penny's still going to hire those assistant coaches, probably in consultation, I would imagine, with Ed Scott. But I'll be curious to see. One name that's certainly out there is Tony Madlock. Again, the Memphis connection, his former teammate. We'll see if that comes to fruition. But as far as general manager, your guess is as good as mine. Could come from within the college ranks, could come from the NBA ranks. We don't know. But again, you're talking about, as you've said a number of times, Eli, that already they're way behind the 8 ball for next season. But it is what it is. You got to get that person in quickly. They can't wait until Final Four weekend when the coaches all come together and have their little powwow and their get together. These coaches need to be in place. And I'll be curious, because if there's any coaches that he's interested in that are still coaching in the NCAA tournament, do you wait? Or again, does he already have his list that's on a piece of paper in his back pocket that he's had for a while? I'll be curious to see what's going on as far as that's concerned.
Well, I mean, he said that the associate head coach they expect to have very soon. And then the GM in 7 to 10 days. So obviously they're moving very quickly on this, again, which you have to do. But, I don't know, as far as the other assistants, maybe that's down the road, but it appears as though that they're going to have at least this associate head coach and the GM in place here, but based on what he said, within the next week.
I would just, as I've said before, like to see somebody from the outside with different eyes to look at this program. Because you look at the assistant coaches that were canned. Roy Rogers is not from here. Mike Davis is not from here. I'm not sure if Jermaine Johnson was born here. Do you know?
He played his high school ball here. I do know that.
Yeah, so I think there's...
I think he's a local Memphian.
Okay, so there you go. But on the staff, Andre Turner was retained. I love Andre. And Dwight Boyd, both former Tiger players. Obviously, Tim Duncan, who runs basketball now and kind of, one of the guys that's right behind Ed Scott in the power pecking order, is a former teammate of Penny. If Tony Madlock's brought in, there's another former teammate of Penny. I mean, that's fine and dandy, but I also would like to see outside eyes. And I don't think I'm alone in seeing, because you want to see somebody looks at the program differently. Because within the program and within the city, we all look at Memphis the same way. Oh, it's one of the power conferences. It's one of the power programs of all time, and this and this and that. Things have changed. And people have to realize things have changed and you have to adjust. Doesn't mean you still can't be a team that goes to the NCAA tournament every year. It's not that it can't be a team that has some big non-conference wins, because you're going to play that schedule every year. It's all about getting the right players. And that's about having somebody to help out Penny who sees it from a different point of view, and then they come together, but different eyes to look at it. So expectations, Dr. Scott said he expects to be in the NCAA tournament. I think Parrish asked him about next year, and while he didn't say we'll make a change if they're not in the NCAA tournament, he said point blank, we expect to be in the NCAA tournament. He also says he expects to be the best or most funded program in the G6, and of course the best again in the American Conference. But I'm telling you, South Florida is about to infuse that program a lot of money. But the best funded program in the entire group of 6. Now, who's in the group of 6? Gonzaga is. They don't have football. I don't know what they're putting in their program, but whatever it is, financially I'm talking about, whatever it is, it's working because they continue to get great player after great player after great player. So Mark Few's evaluation of talent, and I'm not sure if he has a GM or not, is perfecto. So those are the highlights of what Dr. Scott had to say. Again, he'll probably repeat a lot of that today when he meets the media, and Penny will react to it. But I think you're right, Eli. The most important thing that's come out of everything, and I never thought there would be a change, I was pretty consistent here on the show saying that, is that he is going to be willing to bring somebody in to either make the decisions or certainly play a major part in making the decisions of player personnel. Because Dr. Scott said that they got out to such a late start last year, they put too many eggs into the Haggerty/Danger basket.
Yeah, and I mean, he's talked about with Danger, basically a mistake. With Haggerty, kind of understood they never got the counter offer from Haggerty's people, all of that stuff that kind of messed that whole situation up. But yeah, I mean, you got you have to, and again, this is where the GM already knowing these things, having these conversations. But at some point, you have to be willing to say, listen, we can't wait for you any longer. We have to move on. We have to put a roster together, and so if we can't get an answer now, then we've got to move on to somebody else.
And as far as the retainment of players, like I said, I think it's important to be able to retain a few for some sort of stability, even though there's people out there that'll look at it and go, why keep anybody? They were terrible. Well, we saw what happened this past season when they retained nobody from the prior year. And I'm not saying that's the end-all, be-all, but I think it helps. And I think there's a few players certainly that deserve to be back. I think Julius Thetford was a bright spot for the Memphis Tigers, and I certainly hope that he will be back. But I'll be very curious to see which direction they go in. Already Memphis's name has popped up, along with 1,000 other names for certain players that are out there. Is Haggerty a possibility to be brought back? I think they will look at that. I don't know. I don't know if that's the direction they'll go in. By the way, Haggerty yesterday named as an honorable mention All-American. And when you look at those All-American teams, and we already know, Eli, the talent that's out there, especially the freshman class, and a lot of them will be now available for the NBA to choose from in the draft, along with the upperclassmen. Holy smokes. You look, the honorable mention, Darren Peterson, by the way, was an honorable mention. A lot of that had to do with the games he missed, but still, he's an honorable mention. Braden Burry's honorable mention. Bruce Thornton, who's really good from Ohio State, honorable mention. How about Tyler Tanner, what he's doing for Vanderbilt? Okori with Stanford. Elijah Four with St. John. These are honorable mentions. Your first team All-American team included a guy who's been banged up. So it's interesting. Peterson, honorable mention, didn't get the votes. J.D. Toppin did, though. J.T. Toppin from Texas Tech, first team. Yaxel Lendeborg, formerly of UAB, now of Michigan, obviously having a great, great year. A.J. Devonta, Darius Acuff Jr. from Arkansas, the SEC Player of the Year, and the only unanimous selection, Cameron Boozer from Duke. That's your first team. The second and third teams are great. The honorable mentions are great.
It's great. It's it's a heck of a year as far as talent goes. It's like this draft is going to be thought to be as good as it is. I mean, all the freshmen, but there's also some good upperclassmen and things like that too. But again, it goes to the idea that it's easier now for colleges to keep guys from leaving early, because if there's question about where they may be drafted, they're probably going to be making more money in college than they would be by going to the NBA and being a late first round or a second round pick.
Your second team is Braden Smith of Purdue, and I guess they also include the NCAA tournament as far as stats, because it says here he needs 2 assists to break Bobby Hurley's career Division I record. So he's going to get that. Braden Smith's a second teamer. Jeremy Fears of Michigan State was great. Keaton Wagler from Illinois. We talk about him being a top 10 NBA pick, I'm sure, in June. Joshua Jefferson of Iowa State. And then Caleb Wilson, who unfortunately for North Carolina is injured and done. Kingston Flemings is a third teamer. Philon's a third teamer. Christian Anderson's a third teamer. Just unbelievable the amount of talent in college basketball this year. And that draft is going to be absolutely electric. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, let's talk some NBA. The Grizzlies back in action tonight against the Nuggets. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The 2025 Range Rover Sport sits right at the heart of the Land Rover lineup, offering a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility. Smaller and more agile than a full-size Range Rover, it's a great option for everyone who wants luxury and practicality. Every model comes with 8-speed automatic transmission and all-wheel drive standard. Whether you navigate city streets or tackle rough terrain, Range Rover Sport has you covered. Every drive is powerful and breathtaking. The 2025 Range Rover Sport is the epitome of sporting luxury. Test drive one at Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City.
Memphis, ready to play golf whenever you want? Now you can. Welcome to Back Nine Golf, Memphis' premier indoor golf facility built for players who never want to leave the game. Open 24/7 for members, Back Nine Golf features 4 tour-level full-swing simulators letting you take on bucket list courses like St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, and TPC Sawgrass without leaving the Mid-South. Grab your friends, book a bay, play a full round, or hit the driving range to work on your game with instant shot data trusted by the pros. Memphis, you don't have to be a member to tee it up. Public tee times are also available. Rain, heat, wind, or daylight doesn't matter. Your tee time is always on. Visit theback9golf.com/Memphis for more information. That's theback9golf.com/Memphis. Back Nine Golf, just off Poplar at Houston Levy. The Back Nine, where golf never sleeps.
I got him on the line out there in Gossett Volkswagen Germantown. Hey, Marty McNate, what's going on?
I've got some big news. Volkswagen Driver Days is going on at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
And Marty McNate, I hear you've got some incredible deals happening right now.
You heard right, Randy. I got 2026 Jetta S, $277 a month.
$277 a month for Jetta. Hey, what else you got?
How about 2026 Taos S, $327 a month.
$327 a month for Taos S, and I hear you got a Tiguan deal out of this world.
2026 Tiguan S, $355 a month.
Well, it sounds like you got something for everyone.
Come see me, Marty McNate, at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online at GossettVWG.com. And remember, your future is what you make it.
All 36-month lease, Jetta TM 05137, MSRP 25,820, Tiguan TMO 14510, MSRP 32,585, Atlas GC 515,398, MSRP 41,841, includes all rebates and incentives, must be financed through Volkswagen Credit TF 895, excludes tax title and license for the Blue Credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month, dealer stock only.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
March is known for its madness, and once again this year, that madness could lead to cash in your pocket. UTJ at Classic Arms is so excited about his fall's chances in the tournament, he's partnering with us to give away $98.50 to a lucky winner every time Tennessee wins a game. So cheer on the Volunteers, and when they win, tune into Sports 56 mornings the next day for your chance to win $98.50. Thanks to Classic Arms and Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Coming up at 8:05, DeMichael Cole joins us. Jerry Palm at 8:25. Parthu Pajai at 9:25. At 9:05, we will complete our bracket, our Team Sports 56 Mornings combination bracket, and tell you who's going to win the national championship. We got 2 more regions to go, and then we'll get down to the nitty-gritty, our Final Four, and then our national champion. Congratulations to Marcus Saul, the former Grizzly great, selected to the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame class of 2026. Speaking of the Grizzlies, they will be playing the Nuggets tonight in a makeup game. Grizzlies have lost 8 straight. Nuggets come in having played last night, blowing out the Sixers at home by 28. Now, Jokic played 25 minutes, didn't have to play a lot of minutes because they had an easy win. And you had mentioned yesterday on the show that he has 1 game to spare because if he misses 2 or more, he would not be eligible for all NBA honors. Because I wondered if he would play tonight, the fact that they're playing the Grizzlies and Denver can roll out pretty much any 5 and win the game. So I don't know. I mean, if there's 1 game he can avoid, it's this game. But then you don't want to be in a situation where you get the flu or something and then you end up not being able to be eligible for those awards. Having only played 25 minutes last night, maybe he plays. I guess there's a good chance he will, getting ready for the postseason. But your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, I would assume he will play. How many minutes? I don't know, but I would assume that he will play tonight. And he's going to probably try and play every remaining game because you never know when you might miss one.
I think he'll pretty much do the same. He's going to play until he can't play, or he'll get all the way to the end of the season and he'll take that 1 game off at the end just so he can stay eligible for everything.
And he can play minimal minutes tonight. He doesn't have to play a lot.
Right.
The Grizzlies announcing yesterday that Scottie Pippen Jr. had the successful surgery on the toe. Again, I love when they say it's successful because he survived the operation, but we don't know in the long run if any operation is going to be successful on the court. And then Santi Aldama had his procedure as well.
Yeah, they make these announcements that they're out for the rest of the year. Like there's less than a month remaining in the season. I could have guessed that if you're having bones removed from your foot, you're probably not going to return in 2 weeks.
Bones removed. Yeah, I could have guessed 3 months ago. But same with Ja Morant, who's not had surgery, and his evaluation, again, is coming up, next week, I think would be his next event. He ain't playing. And more than likely, he's not playing ever again. I don't think people have come to that conclusion yet, or some have, but most have not, hoping with their fingers crossed. But I will be shocked. This is my shocked face if you're watching us. If he played a game. Again, it's meaningless, which I also don't understand why Giannis is playing. Now, Giannis got hurt again. He's out for at least a week because of a knee situation. He'll be reevaluated in a week. Well, if they reevaluate him and he's fine, what does he want to play for? They're not playing for anything. The Bucks they're out of it. So I don't understand.
These guys generally want to play.
He just wants to play basketball.
Unless they come to the Grizzlies, then they don't want to play. Apparently. Yeah, he wants to play. He's saying all the right things.
I mean, guys are basketball players. They're going to want to play, regardless of.
Look, I would normally say yes 100% of the time. In this day and age, with the money they make, let's see, you can make the same amount of money or not play. I don't know. I think I'll skip this game, or I'll skip this next game. This is not when these guys are like, I'm playing 82. Or in Major League Baseball, I'm playing 162. Those days are gone. But you're right. There's still the competitive juices. But I don't understand why you'd even play him if you're Milwaukee. Play Giannis Antetokounmpo. By the way, I don't know if you guys have noticed, and I'm sure you have, how congested it is for certain races going down to the wire for the NBA playoffs. In the East, while Detroit is comfortably in first, Boston and the Knicks are in a one-game difference, battling for second. Boston's 4 out, Knicks 5 out. Little gap in between Cleveland. But then after that, between Toronto, Orlando, Miami, and Atlanta, they're separated by 2 games. That's for 5th and 6th, 7th and 8th. Obviously, 5th and 6th are in the playoffs. 7th and 8th are in the play-in. Toronto, Orlando, Miami, Atlanta. So that is a fun race that's going on. We already know the 10 teams that are in both conferences. But in the West, you have the battle going on between 4th and 6th. Rockets, Nuggets, Timberwolves, all 12 games behind the Thunder, with the Rockets at 41 and 26, the Nuggets and the Timberwolves at 42 and 27. We know Anthony Edwards now will be out a minimum of 1 to 2 weeks with a sore knee. They're 3 up on Phoenix, so I think they're comfortable as far as being in the playoff and not the play-in, but they're battling for position. So we got some good battles still going on. It may not be at the top. Oklahoma City's lead is 3 on the Spurs. I don't think they'll give that up. There's still time that they could, but I don't see it. They've won 9 in a row. They're ready to go. They're ready to defend their title. But I think there's some pretty good races as far as the NBA is concerned. The Grizzlies, their only race is to see where they are when it's all said and done as far as the draft lottery is concerned. And they have a chance to fall a couple of spots.
Well, the thing, too, with them is right now you have Orlando in the playoffs and not even in the play-in, but in the playoffs of that 6 seed down. Again, it's very tight there. Phoenix is in the play-in behind Minnesota, but now Minnesota is going to be without Anthony Edwards for a little while here. So, it's a 3-game gap right now, so it's still tough for Phoenix to catch them. But if that becomes more of an extended absence for Edwards, could Phoenix end up catching Minnesota or Denver? They're both, and Houston, all those teams. But,
right.
Then with Anthony Edwards out again, they become kind of the most likely one. And if Phoenix, could get into that 6th spot, then you know that both of those teams are absolutely in the playoff and you're not getting a second lottery pick.
Yeah, one of the things that I'll be curious to see after it's all said and done, if Memphis does not get a second lottery pick, obviously is where they are in the draft lottery. If they're top 4, okay. If they're sitting at around 7, 8, and they really are concentrating on a guy, I'm not saying it's Acuff, but maybe it is. Do they try to package to move up to get that player, or are they happy with this draft as loaded as it is to take the 2 first-rounders? I mean, you're only getting younger. This team is getting younger and younger and younger by the minute. But if it's a player or 2 that can help change the trajectory of the franchise, then you'll probably stick with 2. But if there's one guy they zero in on and they think they can get him by moving up, by trading both those picks, I think they'll do that as well.
Last night was over at East Coast Wings and Grill, watching some baseball and some basketball. Drinking some green beer as well. Did drink some green beer last night. Yeah,
nice.
Some green beer over at East Coast Wings and Grill. Also had a little Philly cheesesteak flatbread. One of my favorite things there is.
He didn't go corned beef cabbage or anything like that. He didn't go with an Irish cuisine. He went with the old cheesesteak. There you go. Attaboy.
They don't have a lot of Irish fare over at East Coast Wings or Grill. They're not exactly an Irish place.
I know. I thought maybe they'd pull it out for...
They did have somebody who brought some stuff in, but they had some shepherd's pie and some other stuff, but I had already eaten at that point. So, but the Philly cheesesteak flatbread, that is, that is so good over there. Of course, the wings, 60 different flavors to choose from. Great place with all the NCAA tournament action going on to get on over there, watch the games on the many TVs, and enjoy some of that great food and some of those cold drinks as well. And of course, we're going to have some beautiful weather coming up here over the next few days and over the weekend, so you can sit outside on the patio and enjoy it as well at East Coast Wings and Grill, located in Bartlett, just off Highway 64, right between the Lowe's and Walmart there in the Wolf Chase area. Great food, great place to watch the action. East Coast Wings and Grill.
All right, let's talk some more Grizzlies, some more NBA. We'll do so with DeMichael Cole when we return to open up hour number 2. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef, and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at CodesDispensary.com. That's CodesDispensary.com.
Hey everybody, great news. All-Star Chevy right here in Olive Branch is hosting a huge truck month sale. Supplier prices for everyone. Save thousands. Nobody has more Silverados than All-Star. Today, you could drive home a new Equinox, Trailblazer, Trax, Blazer, or go big with a new Silverado HD and make no payments for 90 days. You're going to love no payments all through the spring and into the summer, and financing as low as 1.9, and your good credit deserves it. Military and first responders, you get an extra $500 bonus. So test drive one of these barely driven, certified, or pre-owned All-Star Chevys. You're not going to find any more in the same place at the same time anywhere. Guaranteed. Tahoes, Suburbans, Chevy Express passenger van, tons of Silverados. Plus, bring any vehicle you want and sell it here at All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. Together, let's drive. Don't miss the truck month sale going on now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
This traffic report brought to you by City Center Liquor, just off Highway 70 in Lakeland. Local, friendly, and always fully stocked. For a 5% discount, tell them Sports 56 sent you.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Cranking it pretty good now with a lot more volume, trying to push up through the Midtown area, especially northbound here on 240 up by Lamar, as it continues to build up from the south on 55 coming up through DeSoto County up through South Haven. A little bit of radar throughout South Haven, a little bit earlier there south of Memphis, so be careful. Hey, bridal season is just around the corner. You know where to shop. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The time. Journey to lead us back. Journey will be here in Memphis on Saturday night at FedEx Forum. 43 degrees, going to get up to 65 today. Cloudy early, becoming sunny this afternoon. Should be a very nice day. 47 tonight for your overnight low, and partly cloudy skies. Then tomorrow, even better. 76 sunshine. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're talking about temperatures that will climb into the 80s, for goodness sakes. So Mother Nature playing tricks with our minds as she normally does. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Jay Ham with you, broadcasting live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Hour 2 is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers, as they always talk about every single day. You want quality product, great people, great service, somebody you can count on, a jeweler you can trust. That's James Gaddis Jewelers. 60 years been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners. They're located at 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick. They're on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. They're open Monday through Friday, 10 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4. They are closed on Sunday. They're your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters. You're looking to get engaged this year? Make sure James Gaddis Jewelers is one of the jewelers you check out for those beautiful diamond engagement rings, wedding rings, personally designed wedding sets. They have the natural earth diamonds. They also have the lab-grown diamonds as well. Great value, great customer service, great reviews. Check them out. And the variety that they have. Wow. Staff is second to none. They'll steer you in the right direction. They'll buy your gold, silver, and diamonds as well. Gold right now is selling at a record high. If you're looking for a beautiful watch, they have watches for men and for women. Bracelets, necklaces, pendants, one-of-a-kind vintage and estate jewelry, antique jewelry. It's James Gaddis Jewelers. Go see them today at 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Time now to talk with DeMichael Cole.
2 watches, that's 12. Come through and slam on you. I'm in the air. Boys, I said and done.
It's time to talk some Grizzlies basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Here's DeMichael with Greg and Eli.
He is our friend DeMichael Cole. Joins us every single Wednesday. You can read his stories on the Grizzlies and some other things that he does at the CA. And also check out the Locked On Grizz podcast, which he co-hosts with Joe Mullinax. Follow DeMichael on Twitter at DeMichaelC. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
Doing good. I am always impressed with you, man. You always find interesting stories that I think most people wouldn't think of off the top of their head. You got a team right now that's struggling. They're going through the motions, and we'll see what happens. There's going to be a lot of action in the offseason, and you're finding these stories. This story about Jaren Jackson Jr. now gone, that there's a void with music in the locker room, which fires up athletes all the time. We see those stories all the time about music that's played in the locker room, and that once he left, the DJ's gone. So you wrote about that. So who's the likely candidate to take over moving forward?
Yeah, it's been tough, and if you look at the quotes in the story, you see how, open players are about something like that, because, I mean, it's unavoidable. Like, can you imagine being in a locker room for pretty much a lot of these guys have only been around probably 2-3 years, but pretty much every day you walk in the locker room, you don't got to worry about who's playing the music and things like that. Then all of a sudden, Jaren gets traded, and then it's just this awkward silence. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, guys are talking to each other and whatnot, but you're used to music kind of blasting over, and, as I said in the story, music is like a connector, because when certain songs come on and certain guys know the lyrics and they're singing along to it, and it just gets you going before, playing, a competitive game and whatnot. But, it's funny, because when I first started off talking to guys about this story in February, they were like, man, we don't know. We haven't figured it out yet. One day this guy will do it. Next day, no one will do it. The next day, it'll be Brandon Clark. Next day, Gigi Jackson does it for a while. But you have all these different players with all these different tastes in music. And then it just got to the point, I think Cedric Coward now, which we're starting to see become kind of a theme here. Cedric Coward was the guy who was like, okay, I'm gonna take that honor. And as you see in the story, he said himself, he's got to be more consistent with it. I think Jalen Wells pointed it out as well. He's like, Fed is kind of taking control of it, but Jaren just used to do it every single time, shoot around, practice it. It wasn't even a thing. But Cedric Coward will do it one game, then he'll forget this time and forget this practice. So it's like he's got to get into that normal rhythm. But he's up for the challenge.
The really good story, by the way.
Was Jaren responsible for their little thing they do in the pregame after starting lineups too?
pregame.
Where they get in the circle when they do, the guys go in the middle of the circle and they do all that stuff. Was that from Jaren?
Yeah. Big part of that is Jaren. Yep. Mm-hmm. As you've seen, they don't do that anymore.
Okay, because I hadn't really paid attention. Are they,
they don't do that anymore. I didn't realize that either.
Yeah. It's a lot of the pregame vibes when you look at when they do the little drills going into the circle and whatnot. Jaren was the conductor, right? When they're shuffling their feet and they're jumping in the air and all that, Jaren was the one in the kind of conducting and telling the players to go left, go right, whatever the case may be. So they basically now have to create like their own new pregame vibe. He was the longest tenured player here. So you don't just lose the player on the floor. You lose kind of a lot of the way that things were set up for years around here, pregame and practices and whatnot because of that.
Boy, that's interesting. It really tells you about the youth of this team and only getting younger with this draft coming up, that Cedric Coward in his first year and could easily be at Duke is maybe the guy that's going to be handpicked to kind of lead this team moving forward. I think he leads by example. I think what he can do on the court is certainly first and foremost. But, man, that just tells you about kind of the instability right now of this team moving forward. And speaking of moving forward, with only, 15 games to go in the season, other than where they're going to be for the draft lottery as far as their chances to move up and maybe get the number one pick or one of the top picks, is there another story that you're looking forward to here over the next 3-4 weeks, whatever it is, to end the season?
Yeah, I think a couple things. When we talk about the development of players, it's the who and how. And to me, it's Cedric Coward, at the top of that list. We just talked about how, he's starting to already feel like, a decent voice in the locker room, and you can tell he wants responsibility. I think I mentioned it before on here that, Santi Aldama is now, a vice president for the National Basketball Players Association, and he's the Grizzlies team rep. But if Santi were to be traded or anything, like that, if Santi was not to be on the Grizzlies roster, every team has, like a backup. And Cedric Coward is already, the first alternate, for the Grizzlies as a rookie. It's just you don't see that a lot. A team having a alternate representative, as a rookie. So, and we've seen the work he's already done in the community. I think around Christmas time, he had like 2 events himself outside of the things that the Grizzlies tend to do, giving back to the Memphis community. So, I think Cedric Coward is, starting to really kind of, intentionally engrave himself in the Memphis community. And as the rest of the season goes on, we've done a lot of talking about, what he can do to take the next step because, to be a little critical here, like it's fair to wonder like how much, he has in his ceiling because I think at this point we see that he's going to be a solid player. I don't think anyone's saying Cedric Coward won't be a good basketball player, but it's how good can he be? Can he be a guy who becomes a 20-point per game scorer? Can he be a guy who comes, a regular all-star, or can he be a guy who's just going to be a nice 3-and-D wing, good complementary player, which every team needs, no doubt about it. But it's just you don't know what that ceiling looks like. So you want to push the envelope here a little bit. They're going to limit his minutes and whatnot, but still, I think that's going to be one of the biggest things that I'm going to be watching going forward.
The announcements yesterday about both Santi and Scottie Pippen, which again, there's less than a month left in the season. I don't know that we needed it really. I think everybody assumed they were out for the rest of the year when you're having procedures like that. The Santi thing has been the ongoing deal. Should there be more concern about anything going forward with him?
Not to my knowledge at this point. I think the procedure, they're hoping it cleans up, that issue and puts it to bed. We'll try to figure out a little bit more just on, you hear arthroscopic and, that word has been very prevalent in the sports community, over the years. But yeah, Santi's knee just wasn't responding well, on a day-to-day basis. So, He was the one who flagged the Grizzlies about it, initially in the beginning, and he was the one who flagged them again, I believe, a week or two ago when he was set to play, and then he just didn't feel, good on it. So, it's definitely worrisome and concerning, but again, he has a full off season to kind of get right, and the Grizzlies expect him to be back at the start of next season.
DeMichael Cole joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Again, you read all his stories at the Commercial Appeal. Follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. Okay, so with Giroux returning, the count now is up to 29 different players. 29 different players for the Grizzlies this season. They're riding an 8-game losing streak, as you know. They've won a total of 23 games. I don't know how many more wins they have the rest of the year. Hopefully they have a win, just because I'm embarrassed if they end the season on a 23-game losing streak.
I think 23.
Yeah. So my question to you is, how do we look at Tomas Isolo in his first full year with all this mess? Is it just a complete 100% pass? Are we excited about the prospects moving forward? Did we learn enough from him with these weird, strange lineups and added players every game? What do we think? What should we think of with Isolo moving forward? Because certainly he's going to be the coach next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough because you really haven't got a chance to see what his system and what his ideas for this team would really look like. I just remember before the season and early in the season how much he was talking about getting Zach Edey back, as basically like this last piece to the puzzle that'll complete,
right,
some of the things that he wants to do. Zach Edey played 11 games, and Zach Edey was the one big that's currently on the roster that he felt like could unlock, a lot of the things that he wanted to do in terms of the screening, the rim presence, the rebounding, and things like that. So I feel like, in a way, he's been, coaching with one hand tied behind his back. Not an excuse. It's more so just the reality of the situation. Now, what I get out of this season is, in terms of, given that context, how can you maximize the other players on the roster? And what the best way to evaluate him will be on the development of players. You start from the beginning of the season. You say, how much did Javon Small, how much did Cedric Coward, how much did Cam Spencer, how much did these guys progress given the situation that they were put in? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, player development for the next couple of years is going to be very high on the list of things that will be emphasized. Up there with winning, up there with, developing start. Like, player development will be at the top of the list. So I think, this year, how things go will be kind of the first time that, they'll really track that situation and get a, idea for, how these players will develop under him.
And that's, I mean, not only Isolo, but like that entire staff. I mean, with that player, like it's really hard to assess anything around the coaching staff.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in the past, under Taylor Jenkins, where his staff were a little bit different, where you had certain coaches, working with certain players and certain groupings and things like that. And then, you had these, the video department and the scouting department and whatnot, kind of working in different roles. Isolo's staff is definitely a little bit different. But at the same time, it's a little bit harder, to get an idea. Like you got, the coach Lazar who came from New Orleans. He's your big man coach. What big man is he coaching right now?
Come on, Taj Gibson, DeMichael. He's got a bright future with this team.
I mean, it's a weird situation.
It is. It really is. Okay, this is something that we've talked about with you before, and we will be talking with you a lot moving forward as we head towards the draft lottery and then the draft. We were talking about this earlier. Right now, with the situation with Phoenix and Orlando, more than likely they won't get a second lottery pick. I don't know, but I don't think so. So have you really looked at the draft that hard, that thorough, where if the Grizzlies have, let's say, the 8th pick, and it could be a lot higher, but let's say if they have the 8th or the 7th, I'm not sure what you think of Acuff. I'm in love with Acuff, absolutely in love with the guy. And I think now, Mox used to look at the guy, he would be like 8th. And now I don't think there's any question he doesn't get beyond, in my opinion, 4, maybe 5. That's it, I think. So what would you, if that was the guy that you wanted, and you were the general manager, you were Zach Kleiman, would you be willing to package the 2 to move up to get that guy? Or any other guy in this situation? Or do you want to keep the 2 knowing that it's going to be a really deep draft?
No, you keep the 2. You keep the 2 because, quite frankly, from a talent standpoint, you're not in a position to you're not one piece away.
Okay.
So I'm looking at this draft as you want to take, you want to throw as many darts, at the wall, as you can. And you got a couple first-round picks, and you got an early. Remember that Pacers pick, the second round. That's a very early pick in the second round, probably going to be somewhere in the 33, 34 range. So, look, I'm using all those picks, and I'm saying, unless you're in a perfect situation, like if you have, the 3rd pick and, I don't know, Cam Boozer's the guy you want, and he's your guy, and you think he's going to go top 2, that's a little bit different.
Okay.
But in particular with Acuff, I like Acuff too, and I like him a lot. But I'm gonna play the contrarian here, just for the sake of this conversation, and I'm gonna say, look, there is concern, with the size. That's why. I mean, he's put up these numbers all year long. I think everyone's just now come to a point like, okay, if he's done this all season long, and he's a Calipari guard. And I mean, the numbers are incredible.
Good track record.
But, yep, the track record, exactly. But the defense is concerning, and it's still a concern and whatnot. And there could be some PTSD there for the Grizzlies, for a team, like the Hawks and teams like that. Like, the one thing that has stood out is simply the fact that, there's a small guard kind of conundrum in the NBA. Teams have wondered for the last few years, can you win with the small guard being your dominant player, so to speak. And in a way, the Grizzlies kind of put themselves in this situation because of that. Not solely, that reason. It was more than just Ja Morant being a small guard with defensive limitations. There was also, Jaren Jackson Jr.'s rebounding limitations and so forth. But I think from the Grizzlies' standpoint of things, as amazing as Acuff is, I believe, that they do like him. But there's going to be, the thought of, hey, if we go after him, we better make sure that we have all the pieces around him. So I say all that to say that I don't know right now at this point if they would trade up to him. I wouldn't consider doing that unless you have a plan to put the other pieces around him. The thing about drafting a smaller guard, like Acuff, I believe you can win with him, but you have to have multiple wing defenders who can really lock up. You have to have a rim protector like Zach Edey, and then at that 4th spot, you need to address that because that has to be, a high-level defender as well. So if you put that player, like the Philadelphia 76ers did back in the day with Allen Iverson, when he was surrounded by 4 defenders when they went to, the NBA Finals, like that's a little bit different. So I think that has to kind of be the Grizzlies' mentality. But if you're in a situation where you're just trying to acquire talent, I think, a Keaton out of Illinois, and some of the other guys, Michael Brown, in that 5, 6, 7, 8 range, Kinston Fleming, those guys will get a strong look as well.
I just worry about guys that have been banged up, like Peterson and Brown and all that. It concerns me with Memphis's medical history. Real quick, give me a 30-second answer to this. As you had the hot take, the real hot take last night about baseball with the WBC, you said, and game on the line, give me Yordan Alvarez, Juan Soto, Shohei Ohtani, Ronald Acuna, Freddie Freeman, Corey Seager, Kyle Tucker, Trey Turner, Jose Ramirez, Mookie Betts over Aaron Judge. A Judge hater.
Look, man, I haven't been that guy because, quite frankly, narratives sometimes, are formed through just a couple moments here and there, right? And if you look at Aaron Judge's the big profile of, he's had a lot of big home runs, in the playoffs. So it's not like his profile is just absent of coming through in the big moments. But I just don't trust it. Like, why is this guy who had an OPS over 1,100 last year a guy that I don't trust in that situation? So, all those hitters that I put in there, I believe are clutch hitters, have proven that they're clutch hitters. And I just don't think clutch now when I watch Aaron Judge, especially after WBC. His only home run was his first at bat.
Mm-hmm. Coming in hot. Strong take.
There's a lot of people that feel that same way. He's just not a clutch guy.
Yeah, you're not alone, man. DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. Read all his stories at the CA. Make sure to check out the Locked On Grizz podcast that he co-hosts with Joe Mullinax. Follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. And listen to him every Wednesday right here on Sports 56 Mornings. Thanks, DeMichael.
All right, take care, guys.
You too. When we come back, we'll switch gears. We'll talk NCAA tournament with Jerry Palm. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, it's Brady Cluse, wide receiver at the University of Memphis. On the field, every yard counts. Off the field, every dollar does too. That's why Southern Security Credit Union is your go-to for mortgages. They make home buying simple, fast, and affordable with rates that help you win big. Ready to make your next move? Visit southernsecurity.org or call 901-452-7900 and get started today. Southern Security Credit Union, your home team credit union, is a proud supporter of University of Memphis athletics and an equal housing lender.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Benswinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Benswinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Benswinger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit benswingerglass.com. Benswinger Glass.
NST's been taking down insurance giants for over 35 years. Big firm power with hometown heart? Yeah, they don't play. It's that combination that has helped them win billions for their clients. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000.
This is Julie Molay-Mary, and I'm with Mark Spensdorf Realtors. I want to dispel any rumors about Sheldon Rosengarten, also with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, being the worst golfer in town. Is that what you wanted me to say, Sheldon?
Yes, Julie, with your stellar career in real estate in Florida and now here, and you also being the Florida Girls State High School champion, in addition to playing for Florida Gulf Coast, I know people would want your opinion about my golf game.
Well, Sheldon, it's a good thing you're great at real estate, because your golf game is underwater, where most of your golf balls end up.
Thanks a lot. You know, people often say that when you want the job done, you call Sheldon.
Yes, but they also say that if someone is wanting to sell a home or buy one, I make it easy, so they call Julie Molay-Mary at 305-0112.
Got it. And you can reach me, Sheldon Rosengarten, at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546.
This traffic report brought to you by City Center Liquor, just off Highway 70 in Lakeland. Local, friendly, and always fully stocked. For a 5% discount, tell them Sports 56 sent you.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning, T-Dot. Still working with a couple of accidents out here. I can still see some volume over here on 40 coming westbound, passing Germantown Parkway down the Sycamore View Road, Midtown. Traffic, all that heavy traffic starting to develop there in certain areas, especially coming northbound on 240 with that traffic flow working your way up past Lamar. Hey, bridal season is just around the corner, so shop local here in Memphis at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
It is a lovely morning. Sometimes that guy lies. He'll say it's a lovely morning and it's storming outside, but he's right on today. It's beautiful. It's going to be beautiful the rest of the week. It's going to be beautiful this weekend. And everything's beautiful in the sports world except that the Americans lost last night, of course, in the WBC. But it's the NCAA basketball tournament, man. March Madness. One shining moment. We're fired up, and so is Jerry Palm.
It's time for Sports 56 Mornings Weekly Chat with Jerry Palm from PalmBrackets.com, covering college football and basketball. Here's Jerry Palm with Greg and Eli.
He's Palm, Jerry Palm from PalmBrackets.com. You can follow JP on Twitter at JPPalm85. He joins us every single Wednesday during both the college football and basketball seasons. So time's winding down, but not before the tournament and national championship is being played. Jerry, you're headed to Greenville?
I am in Greenville.
You are in beautiful Greenville. Okay.
Yeah, the open practice today. So, I'll be watching on TV while I'm sitting there watching practice.
Who's all in Greenville? Give me the rundown.
North Carolina and Duke are both here.
Wow.
So VCU is here. Let's see, TCU, Ohio State. Trying to see if I got it committed to memory. I don't think I've got all of it committed to memory.
Just saying Duke and North Carolina in Greenville? Oh, my gosh.
Together.
Oh, my God. They won't have any empty seats, will they?
Oh, gosh, no. I can't imagine. It's an interesting field.
That's a
here.
great field.
But, you can just have like Duke and Carolina, and it doesn't even matter who else comes.
Exactly.
There aren't going to be empty seats.
Yeah. Were you headed to Greenville even before the?
Yes.
Okay, so you were already set because it was proximity-wise, or?
Yeah, we were in Orlando area on our way. Now on our way back to Indianapolis, and so this was the spot that we could get to see games in the first and second round. We maybe could have made it to St. Louis, but it would have been an ambitious trip to get there.
No, I think you made the right call here.
So how did you end up on your final bracket?
I didn't miss any teams, and I did pretty good on seeding. Probably the most notable seed that I missed was Vanderbilt as a 5. I still had them as a 3, and I didn't think for a minute they would be as low as a 5. I thought they
nor did we.
Treated kind of harshly by the committee. 4, I could have seen a 4, but I thought in the end, even with the loss to Arkansas in the championship game, I thought they should still be a 3.
That's strong. You didn't miss one darn team. I thought, even though I still think that's incredible to nail that, I thought this year was pretty easy for the committee. I don't think there was a lot of controversial takes. I don't think there was a lot of teams. We always give the old college try when it comes to teams that we thought were snubbed, right? The old word snubbed is brought out every year during this time. I don't think anybody was snubbed. I thought they did a perfect job, but I think it was pretty much gifted to them.
I think it's been a few years since the word snub would apply to anybody, because they're letting teams in the field that, you've got to fill the field. That in better years would be snubbed, would be off the bracket as well.
Yet they want more teams.
So I think snub is pretty much gone from our vocabulary when it comes to brackets anymore, because it's impossible to snub Auburn at one game above 500. I don't know who you could even apply that to.
If Auburn was
in any of the last 3 years.
Okay, if Auburn was in and Miami of Ohio was out, could you use snubbed for Miami of Ohio, or is it tough to do that with a team that didn't play anybody?
No, but I would say that Auburn is unjustified. I would say that Auburn is unjustified. And they weren't even the first team out. Oklahoma was.
Right.
And, if Oklahoma was in instead of Miami, I would just say that's a value decision. Miami's resume. Miami 2 years ago, Miami's not getting in because wins above bubble isn't on the team sheet. That's all that got them in. Wins above bubble. That's it. That's the only thing.
You got to like WAB.
I think it's a valuable metric. I think the committee might be leaning on it a little too heavy, but I do think it's pretty good.
They're using that more for selecting the teams into the field, correct?
Correct. Yeah, it has more influence on selection than season.
And then they're using other stuff, and that's why, because they made the point that Miami of Ohio wasn't the last team in, but they are the last seeded of the at-larges.
Yeah, I thought the way I saw it in the bracket, they might have been second to last of the at-larges. But yes, regardless, they're certainly they could be the last seeded team. They should be.
There's one thing, Jerry, that I think is a little confusing to most people, and maybe to me a little bit, but I think it was explained, and I now understand it a lot better. But with Duke, they were the number one overall first seed. They were the number one team ranked of the 68 teams that were ranked. All the teams were ranked. But yet they are looked at as having the hardest region to come out of. So why does that happen?
Because teams are not – they don't make the bracket. That's why. Teams are placed – they have to be kept separate from other teams in their conference to a point. They have to avoid rematches. They're trying to place teams close to home. There's a lot of things that go into it, but stacking a bracket in favor of the top seed is not one of them.
Right. It's, as you say, Eli, it's not the serpentine. You don't have that type of format. And you're right, Jerry. There's a lot of things, a lot of hoops they got to jump through. It seems pretty easy, but it's not when you're bringing all those factors into it.
They do try to balance the top four seeds within a pretty generous margin. So they add up the seed numbers of the top four seed in each region, and they want the highest and the lowest to be no more than 5 apart.
And that happened, but it just happened to be that Duke's turned out to be the hardest. If you added those numbers up. Yeah, I mean, that's the way it was presented to us by CBS because they totaled those numbers.
Yep.
The thing, going back to what you just said about, and I know it doesn't, it's hard and all that stuff. The part that I didn't understand is why they put 4 SEC teams or 5 SEC teams in as the one, is it 4 or 5 in the one bracket? And
4.
It's 4-3-3. That's right. They have 4-3-3, and then one has no SEC teams. It's like, why jam all those teams into one when you could have spread them out a little bit more?
I can guarantee you they were not looking at that when they were going through. That's not part of the principles.
They're not looking at what conference they're from. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they do try and keep teams separated from the same conference within certain limits.
Rematches, things, but these are rematches.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Well, and rematches. I mean, when you have 2 teams from the same conference, you're going to place 2 teams in the same region. A rematch is potentially inevitable.
Yeah, exactly.
So they won't play teams that could meet in the second round, I think it is, or that have played each other twice. And maybe that's a Sweet 16 if they played each other twice, and Elite 8 if they've only played each other once. It's the other way around. Sweet 16 if they've only played each other once, Elite 8 if they've already played each other twice.
So they try and keep you away from a conference mate until at least the Sweet 16?
Well, it's actually not just a conference mate, but it's the number of times you played a team. So you could have a non-conference opponent that you've played once, and they're going to try and keep you away from them a little longer.
Because they made the point, the Texas NC State game last night was a little weird because it's a first 4 game. They had already played this year, but it's a first 4, and that's just the way it worked out.
Yes, and we've seen that before where there's a rematch in the first 4 because they just put those, the bottom 2 play each other, and the at-large teams, and then the next 2 play each other, and if it happens to be a rematch, too bad. And if it happens to be teams from the same conference, too bad.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do. You're going to probably not be able to adhere to every single one of those rules that are in front of you to make it work. Jerry Palm joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. What about this? In the South, Florida's the 1.
Yep.
Houston's the 2. If they meet, they're playing in Houston. Do you like that Houston's in Houston?
Sure. Well, that's, there's nothing wrong with that. They're not the host.
Florida won't be happy if it's Florida and Houston in Houston.
Just beat them. Florida will have plenty of fans there. It's not like it's going to be a 90% Houston
Just
crowd.
shut up and play, right?
Yeah.
I thought there was a guy. I thought they did a great job. I praised them on Monday. Again, I thought it was a little bit easier than it's been, but I praised them still. The one thing I had, and you brought it up already with Vanderbilt seeding, Arkansas going all the way out to Portland was an issue. How about Missouri being a 10 seed and getting to play in St. Louis?
Oh, yeah. Well, again, perfectly allowed.
Right. I'm not saying it's illegal. I'm just saying, gosh, they're a 10 seed. And they're playing basically
that could be Purdue's second opponent. If they win their first game, I think they could get Purdue. So, that's just how it goes. There's nothing that prevents them from. And they try to keep teams close to home, and there's nothing that prevents them. And it's not like Mizzou's actually in St. Louis, but
but it's right down the road in Columbia. I mean, It's not that far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's in the state, and it's funny. Had it been Illinois instead of Purdue, which was a possibility. That Illinois and Mizzou play each other in St. Louis pretty much every year.
Right.
So that could have been a second round rematch.
You brought up.
Well, it couldn't have been because they played this year.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Unless they couldn't avoid it, but yeah, you're right, Eli. Yeah.
Do you believe your Boilermakers have kind of figured things out with what they did in the 10th tournament?
Last week. They did last week.
I got them in the Final Four, Jerry. They better have figured it out.
They the seems like the best thing for Purdue is they're not playing at home. It has 5 home losses this year. Also, very good team. Like Wisconsin was the worst team to beat them at home, but it was a weird year. For a team as good as this one is, and even was thought to be, they didn't live up to their preseason expectation, but they still were a pretty good team. To lose 5 times at home, I mean, that's like, 5 years sometimes.
What do you think it was?
So
just one of those things? Or, I mean, can you pinpoint it?
I mean, it was obviously the quality of the opponent. You have to be a good team to go in there and get them. And then, I think Michigan could probably beat them anywhere. They didn't beat them in Chicago, but that's a really good team. Michigan State's a good matchup for Purdue. So, and Wisconsin shot the lights out. People were blaming Purdue's defense. It's like, look, they're shooting from 3 steps behind the 3-point line at some point. At some point you just take your hat off to them because it was their day. So, anyway, it's different things for each of those games. But, yeah, it was just a weird year in the sense that they lost that many home games. And even if they lose at some point in the NCAA tournament, they will have more losses at home than they had anywhere else.
Well, I'm just hoping, as Eli alluded to, with the way they've been playing lately, that maybe they figured it out. I'm betting on them to figure it out.
They played better defense, no question.
Yes,
they ramped up their defense for the Big Ten tournament, and that's the first time they take a day off defensively, they're going home, and that could be game. Even game 1, they take a day off defensively, they're going home.
I'm Big Ten heavy with my Final Four. I'm taking Michigan, but I know this will be because Arizona screws me every year. Arizona will, since I don't have them winning it, they're going to probably win it. They're the hottest team. They look great. Who have you picked for your Final Four?
I picked Kansas, Illinois, Michigan, and Arizona.
Kansas, Illinois, Michigan, Arizona. Okay, so you
and
think
Michigan winning.
So we picked the same win. Okay, I got Michigan winning it as well. So do you think now this is Darren Peterson's chance to step up in the limelight? Everybody knows how great he is, but this is his chance really to go, all right, shut up, all you doubters. I'm healthy, and I'm going to crush it.
And Duke is dinged up.
Yeah.
If Duke were, could tell me for sure that Duke could be 100%, I wouldn't have picked Kansas.
Yeah, and I got Duke going to the Final Four, and I'm a little bit reluctant, but I still think they're better than Michigan. I worry about St. John's. See, you got Kansas beating St. John's. I got St. John's beating Kansas. That's the team I'm looking at. St. John's looked great against Connecticut.
They did.
I mean,
the
physical
thing for
specimens.
Kansas is, I feel like Kansas is a team that has underperformed to the level of their talent because they haven't had Peterson so many times this year. So they're a 4 seed they're a 2 seed on a 4 line. I think if they play full strength all year, there's no way they're a 4. So I just feel like that's a team that was underseeded to the level of their talent, which is, I'm not saying that the committee did the wrong thing. They did the right thing. But I just feel like they're a better team than their seed. They're the one team in the top 4 that, to me, is definitely better than their seed.
Do you have, what big upsets do you have in the first round? Do you have any?
Akron and VCU.
I took both of them.
VCU.
It's Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Also not 100%.
I took those as well.
Akron, Texas Tech. So you're without Cade Wilson,
another
without
not
JP
100%
Toppin.
team. And I actually saw Akron. They were at Purdue this year, and they got beat pretty comfortably because they're Akron and Purdue's Purdue. But they showed me some stuff in that game, and I think they were the best team in the MAC. Miami's record notwithstanding, Miami beat them at home in their only game. But I feel like Akron was the best team in the MAC this year.
What do you think the easiest region is for the number 1?
I don't know. I thought they were pretty well balanced, actually. I don't know that I've got an easiest one. Maybe Michigan. I don't know. No, I just don't think there's an easiest one. I think they were pretty well balanced, and there's good teams in the 2 spots in each of those regions. I think there's good teams in the 4s as well. I just think there are good teams in those regions, and they're going to get tested. Those ones are all going to get tested.
All right. Well, Greenville should be hopping. I can't imagine there'll be an empty seat in sight when you got Duke and North Carolina both playing in little Greenville, South Carolina.
Well, and they'll be Duke will be in one of the sessions and Carolina in the other one. So, so we won't have them in the building at the same time. At least for the first day, anyway.
I mean, it's not a huge arena anyway, right? What do they sit there?
I'm going to guess Illinois is going to have a lot of people there too.
Oh yeah.
And Ohio State's there.
Illinois will be well represented.
Ohio State will probably be represented pretty well. I mean, that is going to be a happening. That might be the most happening region there is, or site, I should say, for the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, we've got 4 teams with pretty reasonably sized fan bases that are going to drown a lot of people out.
Absolutely.
But I'm excited. I'm excited that VCU is here because I like their band and I've always liked that program.
Yeah, we'll get your band rankings next week. It's Jerry Palm. PalmBrackets.com is the website for both college basketball and college football. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at JPPalm85. He's with us every single Wednesday. Coming to an end for another season soon, but not before this whole thing plays out in the NCAA tournament. Enjoy yourself, Jerry. Where will we talk to you next week from? Do you know where you're going, or are you going home? What are you doing next week?
I'm going to be at the Chicago region next week.
Okay, perfect. We'll talk to you from Chicago. Have fun.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, JP.
The St. Louis region will be pretty crazy as well.
Who's in that one?
Well, you'll have Kentucky, Iowa State, Purdue, and Missouri.
Yeah, it's another one.
And those are all pretty close. It's pretty easy drives for all of those to get to St. Louis. Obviously, Missouri, a couple hours, but the others very much. And Kentucky people just go crazy no matter where they go. But yeah, that at Iowa State, those people go crazy.
Is there any one of these first and second round sites that you think will struggle with attendance? Like, I haven't really concentrated on this that much, but
struggle with attendance? I mean, no. I mean, I don't think they're going to struggle. I mean, because that's part of the reason they went. With
Buffalo, New York, did they got like 20 inches of snow there? Or?
Pod system is to try and alleviate.
I understand issues, but some way better than others.
Like San Diego has probably other than Arizona, they don't really have. What other teams? They have Utah State. I'm trying to think who else is even from the West that's in that.
Right.
Cal Baptist. But you got Kansas, St. John's, and Villanova as the other teams that are there. So, but again, people will find a way. Kansas people will find a way to get there and be there.
They'll be there. I wonder.
Portland has Gonzaga, so
right. But I wonder how many Hogs fans will be able to travel to Portland, because we've already had several Hogs fans that texted into the show earlier in the week talking about maybe not necessarily they were going to go, but how it could affect attendance because of the cost and the travel and the time, and especially right now with the TSA, waiting in lines at the airports. That'd be nasty.
Fleet Feet, the place to go to get all your running gear. Go see the folks at Fleet Feet either in the Laurelwood Shopping Center in East Memphis or out in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levy next door to the Hueys. Out there, you could go in, they take a look at the way you run or walk, and they fit you with shoes that are just right for you, plus any other gear that you need. They have you taken care of at Fleet Feet. And getting some warmer weather, folks are going to be getting outside, walking, running, doing all that. Make sure you get the gear. Make sure you get those proper shoes before you get out there and go see the folks at Fleet Feet to do so. You can also find them online, fleetfeetmemphis.com, or on social media, where they'll keep you up to date with all the stuff they've got going on. They're just all about runners, all about the running community. That's what it's about at Fleet Feet.
We got some NFL news, big trade that went down yesterday. We'll do that when we return, some other things. And then we'll open up hour 3 by making our final selections. We got 2 more regions to go through. We'll get to the final 4 and crown our national champion. And then more on Tigers basketball with what Dr. Ed Scott had to say yesterday. Dr. Scott and Coach Penny Hardaway will meet the media today. We'll talk to Parth Upadhyay about that coming up at 9:25. You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Remember when a spring day meant sunshine, animals, and nowhere you had to be? At the Memphis Zoo, spring break is the perfect excuse to get outside and explore. Meet adorable new animal babies, hop aboard the zoo train, take a spin on the carousel, or soar above the zoo on the zip line. Discover new foods and retail along the way, and grab a classic Mold-A-Rama souvenir. Bring the kids, meet friends, or enjoy a quiet afternoon. The Memphis Zoo, creating adventures, saving wildlife.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Your home is your best investment, so why not make it the best it can be with help from Gates Lumber? Start with your front door, serving 2 purposes, curb appeal and security. Gates has solid construction doors built for security, durability, and beauty. See and compare wood, steel, and fiberglass options side by side at Gates Showroom. It's easier to choose when you can see and touch real doors with real assistance from knowledgeable staff helping you choose the right door for your home and budget. So don't just replace your door, upgrade your protection, and Gates Lumber is the right choice. Family owned and operated, serving you for over 100 years with free estimates, free delivery, competitive prices, and quality products. Call 901-942-3201, go to gateslumber.com, or come by their showroom, 1253 South Bellevue Boulevard. Gates Lumber, celebrating over 100 years with a passion for craftsmanship since 1920.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet piquilla peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The Miami Dolphins continue with their spring house cleaning as they have traded wide receiver Jalen Waddle to the Denver Broncos. They get a first and a third round pick in this year's draft. They also exchange fourth rounders. So Waddle gives Bo Nix another weapon in Denver. And for Miami, that poor new head coach, it's going to be another rough one.
And for Malik Willis,
yes,
you go down there and they take
your weapons,
get rid of one of your best weapons. That's what I mean. Denver needs some help at the receiver position, and Jalen Waddle's a good one. Certainly a great speed and big time deep threat. That's to me for Denver. Their pick is whatever 30th or whatever. So giving that up basically to get a receiver like Waddle, I think that's a good move for them.
Yeah, it's basically a second rounder they're giving up, but then also the third rounder. So he'll go out to Denver. They got Cortland Sutton. They still got Evan Ingram out there, but they don't have a ton of weapons. So that certainly will help the Broncos. The Eagles have signed wide receiver Hollywood Brown. So another speedster for Jalen Hurts. Van Jefferson, the former Ole Miss Rebel, signs with the Washington Commanders. Commanders yesterday introducing Laramie Tunsil, who they picked up, and they're very excited about the former Ole Miss Rebel. The 49ers, in the last 2 days, added wide receiver Christian Kirk. Of course, they added Mike Evans as well. So with Pearsall, those two receivers, last year was kind of a mess with the whole Ayuk situation, Juwan Jennings. Now they're going Christian Kirk, who I think is a really good, underrated, undervalued wide receiver. And then, of course, Mike Evans, the future Hall of Famer, there in San Francisco. Mentioned that Memphis tonight will be hosting the number 4 ranked team in the nation, one of the powers in softball, Oklahoma, 6 o'clock. That is a sellout. It's been sold out for 2 days. But Memphis softball, give them credit. They're not a good team. And they got Oklahoma coming in. Oklahoma just disposed of Auburn in 3 games down at Auburn. And we'll say maybe Oklahoma will, maybe they'll start the bus driver inside the circle. Because this is just good luck. Good luck going up against Oklahoma.
It's always good luck when going up against Oklahoma softball.
I mean, that's your team right there, man. Do you have all the players' posters on your wall or just a few?
None of the current ones. It's all past.
David Cutcliffe is retiring officially from football after a 40-year career. Of course, a longtime head coach, but he had been a special assistant to the SEC Commissioner for Football over the last 3 years, since 2022. So David Cutcliffe leaving the SEC office and announcing his retirement yesterday. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. Hey, if you announce your retirement, how do you celebrate? I would say go out to Corky's. Have a little celebration. Get together with the folks when you're announcing your retirement. A little retirement party. But for birthday celebrations, anniversaries, just any time, get-togethers, Corky's, they have 2 party rooms. They got one in the Cordova location and one in the Olive Branch location. So if you have an event you want to celebrate at Corky's, make sure you call any of those 2 establishments, find out if your date works out and they got an opening, and go ahead and get that booked right now. Of course, for lunch or dinner, Corky's is always a great option. They've been serving up delicious slow smoke barbecue for about 40 years. They've been catering that entire time. So if you got something
that's coming up as far as a party is concerned that you want catered, let Corky's do it for you. They have the experience, the know-how. They do it so well. They do it so easy. They'll set it up. They'll break it down, and they can enjoy that delicious barbecue, the Q, the ribs, all the great fixins as well, the sides that they have. When you head over for lunch, add a third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99 when you purchase your entree, your barbecue sandwich, maybe an award-winning catfish plate. You may want to go that for your entree, a tamale, whatever the case is, but then you get a third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99. That's a lot of food, but then you box it up if you can't eat it all, and you bring it home, and the next day it'll be outstanding. They got party packs that start at just $7.49. 4 locations: Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and they will deliver to you. I think it's a $3.99 set price, but go ahead online or give them a call for more information about their delivery services. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. Hour 3 on the way. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
Men, if you're tired of relying on pills and want lasting, natural performance in the bedroom, Bluff City Health and Wellness offers Apex RF. Backed by clinical research, this discreet 15-minute, non-surgical treatment boosts blood flow, sensitivity, and confidence. No pills, no needles, no side effects. Appointments are filling fast. Call Bluff City Health and Wellness today at 901-800-7606 or take the ED quiz at bchwonline.com. Bluff City Health and Wellness, your confidence in the bedroom naturally.
Listen up, Mid-South. Landers Ford in Collierville says make no payments for 90 days. That's right. During Ford Truck Month, your #1 Ford dealer gives you payment relief. New Ford F-150, 0% APR financing for 60 months. 0 down payments. 0 payments for 90 days. Are you listening? New F-150s, 0% APR financing for 60 months. 0 down payments. 0 payments for 90 days. Get started now with our Landers Easy Pass at LandersFordMemphis.com. Shop one of the largest selections of new Fords before they're sold. It's only once a year. Act now. 0% APR, 0 down payment, 0 payments for 90 days. There's 0 to pay to drive today. Landers Ford in Colliersville. If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2025 Total New Vehicle Retail Sales Report, Memphis Market, with approved credit from Ford Credit. Minimum monthly payment of $16.67 per 1,000 finance, regardless of down payment. Interest accrues from inception. Example: 2025 Ford F-150 Lariat. VIN number 1FTFW5LHXSFB43528. MSRP $71,675. Ford bonus cash $1,000. Sale price $70,675. Based on 0% APR financing for 60 months. Price, tax, title, and $695 processing fee. See dealer for complete details. Offer ends 4/2/26.
Sometimes an idea comes along that fills a void nobody even knew existed, and a few years ago, one of those ideas was Sunrise. We didn't know that Memphis had been waiting for a place that serves the freshest, fastest, made-to-order breakfast, and lunch for that matter. And then Sunrise on Jefferson opened, and we all realized that's what we'd been waiting for. And now we also have Sunrise East on Poplar, because we needed that too. Both Sunrise locations provide the delicious food we've been craving, and now we can get, and we can only get, at Sunrise.
Progressive's Home Quote Explorer helps you easily find and buy the right coverage for you. It's everything you've always wanted. Well, I mean, as far as a website that lets you shop, quote, and buy insurance in one place. But hey, maybe that is everything you've always wanted. Yeah, people have different types of dreams, and if all you've ever been searching for is a website that helps you choose home insurance rates and coverage, boy, do we have great news about Progressive's Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
March is known for its madness, and once again this year, that madness could lead to cash in your pocket. UTJ at Classic Arms is so excited about his fall's chances in the tournament, he's partnering with us to give away $98.50 to a lucky winner every time Tennessee wins a game. So cheer on the Volunteers, and when they win, tune into Sports 56 Mornings the next day for your chance to win $98.50. Thanks to Classic Arms and Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Rebel Nation, get the latest on everything Ole Miss sports with the Cannon Motors of Mississippi Rebel Yell Hotline. Join Rebel insiders Chuck Rounsville, Yancey Porter, and Gary Darby Monday nights at 6 as they break down the latest with the Rebels, along with even more insight from special guests. Rebel Yell Hotline, Mondays at 6 p.m. on WHPQ.
Stay up to date with everything going on in Ole Miss athletics with Rebel Yell Hotline every Monday night from 6 to 7 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning, T-Dot. Still working with a couple of accidents out here. I can still see some volume over here on 40 coming westbound, passing Germantown Parkway down to Sycamore View Road, Midtown. Traffic all that. Heavy traffic starting to develop there in certain areas, especially coming northbound on 240 with that traffic flow working your way up past Lamar. Hey, bridal season is just around the corner, so shop local here in Memphis at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
Memphis's original sports station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:04 the time. Our final hour here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Wednesday, March 18th, 2026 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Jay Ham with you. We're broadcasting live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, that's where family and fun come together. Their floor model spa sale continues. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 45 degrees, but it's going to warm up to about 66. Right now, a lot of clouds, but the sun will be coming out later on this afternoon. There is a few sprinkles possible this morning. Tonight, 47, your overnight low, partly cloudy skies. And then tomorrow, we're looking at 77 for a high with mostly sunny skies. Friday, 84, 86 Saturday, 87 Sunday. Wow, sunshine, sunshine, sunshine. It's going to be a nice weekend. It's going to be a nice end of the week as well because we all deserve it. Coming up in hour number 3, we'll get back into talking Tigers hoops with Parth Upadhyay at 9:25. Of course, we talked a lot about what Dr. Scott had to say yesterday about the decision to retain Coach Penny Hardaway. Both Coach Hardaway and Dr. Scott will be meeting the media later on this afternoon. Looking forward to going over and listening to the both of them. But we'll talk about the whole situation with Memphis Tiger basketball with Parth Upadhyay at 9:25. We got some picks to make, which we'll do in a second, for the NCAA tournament, which got underway yesterday with the first 4. 2 more games tonight with Prairie View A&M and Lehigh in a battle of 16 seeds. Lehigh, 3.5-point favorite. And in a battle of 11 seeds, Miami of Ohio, a 6.5-point underdog against SMU. Congratulations to James Smith IV. We were talking Monday with Matt Reiser, who comes on the show on Mondays, the Memphis Tiger baseball coach during the baseball season. And I said, he surely should be the player of the week in the American. And then he brought up, was it Wichita State? He goes, well, they had 30 runs in one game and 27 runs in another game. And maybe there were some guys that just exploded. But congratulations. James not only was named the player of the week in the American Conference, he had 16 runs batted in over the weekend. 3 home runs, including a grand slam, 9 hits. Unfortunately, Memphis lost 2 out of 3 to Eastern Illinois. But he was also named yesterday the National Hitter of the Week, the top hitter in the week in the nation. How about that?
Well, it's tough to do better than that. It's a hell of a week.
That's a hell of a week.
It's a hell of a month, let alone a week.
Shams Charania with the report on the WNBA collective bargaining agreement. Look, I'll be honest with you. I'm all for women's sports and all for the ladies getting whatever they get. I'm not a big fan of the game. I don't watch it a lot. But this is definitely a landmark collective bargaining agreement. A new salary cap starting at $7 million, which is up $1.5 million. An average revenue share of nearly 20% across the deal. Supermax is now starting at $1.4 million. Remember when the WNBA, the players had to leave to go somewhere else around the world to play, to basically make a lot of money because they weren't making anything? The average salary is $600,000. That's up. The minimum is 300 G's. That's not too shabby. And it's all because of Caitlin Clark. This is the 30th year of the WNBA. 30 years. They weren't even making anything a couple of years ago. So again,
let people tell you whatever they want to tell you. Let players tell you whatever they want to tell you. This is all the Caitlin Clark effect, and she's back after last year having an injury-plagued season with Team USA. She was named the player of the tournament.
You got about a year to continue using that at best. The Caitlin Clark effect, you got about a year for it.
Why?
You're going to find out that she's a good player and that she's a good player. There are some killers in the top.
Oh, this has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark, lack of talent or talent. Because I don't think by any stretch of the imagination.
I get the starter
Wait,
part.
let me finish. I don't think she, at any stretch, is the best player. Not even close. If you don't think Caitlin Clark did all of that, then I don't know what you're watching.
Oh, she has an impact. But like I said, you have about a year remaining.
Let me tell you something. If Caitlin Clark were to retire tomorrow,
well, in a year they're not going to be tired of watching. Like, people are still going to want to watch her.
The way this women's game is growing, and I'm in tune with the women fans as well. The way that this thing is moving, you got about a year or so before that narrative kind of takes a spin and goes the other way.
I completely disagree. 2 years ago, they were getting nothing with these contracts.
Of course. I mean, I understand that, but it's going to come to a point to where...
I don't think she gets the credit. I do not think she's getting the credit she deserves.
She gets the credit. I think she gets far too much credit.
Well, we'll agree to disagree because I think she's the whole reason why. And I think if she retired today, 2 years from now, nobody's watching the WNBA.
Completely disagree.
I think you're in the minority, but that's fine.
I will be glad to be in the minority because by the time we get to 2030, it's going to be a whole different ball game in terms of viewership, perception, popularity. It's going to change.
I don't believe so. It's just like the women's game in college. There are really good teams.
Which is also blowing up right now. Keep going.
It's not blowing up.
Okay.
It blew up when she was there. And there is a residual effect that people have continued to watch it. But
she's not there now.
I know, but she's the one that introduced people to it. A lot of those people.
A lot of those people, yeah. But
and some of those can continue to watch it.
I get that part. We're going to come apart to a point to where we're going to cross that bridge where
okay,
that
let me
doesn't
ask you
matter
this.
anymore.
There was a Tiger effect that has completely changed the game of golf. Tiger has been irrelevant over the last, I don't know how many years as far as playing. He's been injured. Tiger still will affect the game for 20 to 30 to 40 years from now. The players are getting the money that they're getting because of Tiger. There is a Caitlin Clark effect. She is Tiger for the WNBA. And I don't know how anybody sees it any differently.
For about the next year or so, that's good.
I don't understand. Like,
I don't get what you're saying.
I don't understand. Well, how is it?
We'll revisit it another time.
Because you
got to explain yourself.
They're not going to drop the salaries in a year.
No.
She did this. They got lucky that the timing was right that they had to do collective bargaining agreement now. So that her effect can't stop in a year. It's as long as the CBA into the next one.
I fully acknowledge that. All it did was raise the profile of the better players that are around her that are going to pretty much push that narrative out of the way as we move forward.
I don't think people care about whether she's the best player or not. For whatever the reason is, it didn't do anything for me, but for whatever the reason is, when she was at Iowa, people started to gravitate to her. I don't get it. She's the three-point shooter.
She's unbelievable to watch. She's like Steph Curry.
But
she's shooting from 30 feet, and she was amazing.
Maybe it was just the three-point shooting, but that's
I think you downgrade her as a player. I think she's awesome. I think you act like she's not a great player.
She's not the best player.
I don't downgrade her as a player. She's not the best player.
No, she's not the best player.
She's a great player.
I never said she was the best player.
She's a good player at this point at the WNBA stage. She's a good player. She's working on her way to being great. She's an all-star, yeah. She's got her first season started out rocky.
She was just the most outstanding player of this.
She got better
world,
in her
right? With all the other great players. She was the most outstanding. Yeah, that's more than good
on a Team USA qualifier. Okay, cool.
Well, what other did we not have? Who else was there? Did we not bring any of our other people?
I mean, okay, you got Angel, you got Chelsea Gray, you got Paige, you had a squad.
Okay,
of them.
and she was the most outstanding player.
That's fine for a qualifying
but not great. That seems like she's
when they
clearly
tip
a
off
great
in
player.
May. When they tip off in May, and we get through this season, she's going to have a great season. Don't get me wrong. Caitlin is a very good player. There's a lot of overhype about her. that I feel is going to do, ultimately, I hope that it doesn't come this way, but it's going to do her a disservice as a star. That's just me. We can revisit it another time.
You may be looking at it different. You're looking at it from the talents of Caitlin Clark compared to the other stars of the WNBA.
No.
I'm looking at the Tiger impact.
I get
That's
that
all
part,
I've been talking about is
but
that.
we're at that point to where, okay, they've met and got what they wanted salary-wise with the WNBA. Now they're going to continue, like with this unrivaled league that they have. They did some fantastic stuff with that.
Even though she didn't play in it, right? I don't think she played. She was hurt.
She didn't know. She's not in that league.
But she's the reason. If there was no Caitlin Clark, there would not be this contract with this WNBA today in 2026. That's all
fair.
I'm saying.
And even if when you come back to there's no Caitlin Clark in Unrivaled in 2021, 2026 when they went to Philadelphia and sold out the building, which they drew the largest crowd for basketball in the city of Philadelphia. Then they come back a month later, put 19,000 again in Brooklyn.
But again, my point with the PGA Tour is they are getting record-breaking amounts of people.
She raised
that are
awareness.
Tiger did that. And now she's doing that for the WNBA.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all.
That's all
understood.
I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
And the thing is that my point, that's not dying in a year. You keep saying in a year that's not going to. She has a residual effect forever now, basically.
The residual effect is going to be there. That's understood.
I watched Lisa Leslie dunk a ball. I watched this WNBA when it started 30 years ago. First 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Nobody watched it. Nobody. And these were the best basketball players in the world. They had to go to Europe to go and make money.
And that was a lot like how the NBA started off. First 30 years, nobody watched it.
Right.
And they were taped and laid until we got to the 80s where they got Bird and Magic and David Stern marketed from the individual standpoint.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's
I get where the effect
That's all I'm
comes
saying
from,
about Caitlin Clark is that she has made it where now they're making reasonable salaries, that people are watching, that they're now maybe people that didn't know about it now watch and they go, you know what? This is a good product. We'll watch it even if Caitlin's not playing. But she built the awareness, maybe not trying to build it. It just happened. It was a weird thing. It was a phenomenon. It's like one of those stupid songs that come out that like everybody wants to hear the Macarena or something like that. It's like all of a sudden it's like, where did that come from? And everybody and their mom is 6'7". Where the hell did that come from? Caitlin Clark is one of those deals, but she's not a flash in the pan. Obviously, she's a good player. I never ever said she's the best player. She's certainly one of the best, but she is the most impactful player from that standpoint. Not from, again, playing X's and O's, championships, that type of thing, although she's really good. She is as impactful as anybody is to their respective sport that there's been in the history. I would put her below Tiger, but that's what we're talking about right here. All right, guys, good discussion on that. Let's move on. We got to make some picks. We're doing a combination of the three of us, and the majority gets the pick. So we're picking the NCAA tournament for you. And, of course, this is exactly how it will turn out. We know that. So we're going to get to the West and the Midwest. We picked the East and South yesterday, if you were with us. Duke was the team that advanced from the East despite the injuries. We all had Duke, and we had Florida in the South. All right, so let's get to the West, guys. Arizona, Long Island, even though I'd love to see Rod Strickland get a win. I assume Arizona. Everybody's got Arizona moving on. What about Villanova, Utah State in the 8-9, guys?
Utah State.
Yeah, Utah State.
I'm going with Utah State as well. I'm surprised Kevin Willard's done as well as he has with Villanova this year, coming from Maryland, but he has. But Utah State's my pick, and it's our pick. Wisconsin, High Point? Wisconsin?
Yeah, I like the Wisconsin guards.
Okay. Let's go with Arkansas, Hawaii. I assume we got Arkansas.
Yep.
No surprise from the Warriors. BYU now will go up against Texas. I like Texas.
Too much AJ.
You like BYU. What do you say? You like the tiebreaker?
I did like Texas until I watched them play last night. That offense was, I don't know. I don't know what they were doing. I'll take BYU.
Okay,
and
so
DeBonsa.
BYU is the consensus. Gonzaga, Kennesaw State. Anybody picking an upset? We got Gonzaga.
I love Antoine Petway, but not for that one.
Yeah, good call on that. Miami, Missouri. I like Missouri.
Missouri.
Playing in St.
Missouri
Louis.
in St. Louis, yeah.
Although Jay Lucas, the job he has done at Miami, would not be surprised if they win. Purdue, Queens, North Carolina, Queens University. I bet a lot of people don't even know it's until I said it was North Carolina. I didn't. It's not Queens College, though. It's Queens University. Okay, we move on to the Midwest. Michigan, Howard, Michigan. Gonzaga, St. Louis. I'm sorry, Georgia, St. Louis. My bad. 8-9.
Georgia.
Yeah, let's go Georgia.
I'm going Georgia as well. Texas Tech, Akron. This is where I picked an upset. I have Akron. What do you think?
I'll go Akron.
Okay, we're going to go for the upset. Jay Ham doesn't even have to say anything on that one. Alabama, Hofstra. Alabama got any issues with the kid with the weed?
Rolling with the weed, man.
Haven't heard anything new today, so I assume he's out.
I'll take Alabama, but that it does worry me.
I'll take Alabama, but it could go up in smoke. You never know, right? That's bad. Tennessee against the winner of Miami of Ohio, SMU tonight. I got the balls.
Yes.
Everybody? Okay.
Which means somebody would be winning $98.50 from our friend UTJ over at Classic Arms. For every game Tennessee wins, we'll be giving away $98.50. So if they do win that game, Monday morning we'll be making somebody a winner, nearly $100 richer.
Thank you to UTJ for doing that. Virginia and Wright State.
Virginia.
I got Virginia. J-Ham, that's not one of your upsets, is it? Okay. And then Kentucky, Santa Clara. A lot of people like Santa Clara. I'm going Kentucky.
I'll go Santa Clara.
Well, Santa Clara as well.
Okay. You guys got the majority on that one. Iowa State, Tennessee State. We just had Nolan Smith on yesterday, but I think the tournament will be one and done, unfortunately, for the Tigers. Cyclones, I like them a lot. Yeah? Okay. So, let's go back up to the West. Arizona, Utah State. Zona. Wisconsin, Arkansas. I think this is going to be tough for Arkansas, but I'm taking them.
Arkansas.
I go with Arkansas in overtime in that one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough. BYU, Gonzaga. I'm going Gonzaga. Gentlemen?
I go, you know what? I got AJ going Sweet 16. Let's go.
What do you got?
If they had Richie Saunders, I would definitely go BYU. But without Saunders, I'm going to go Gonzaga.
Okay. Missouri, Purdue. I got Purdue.
Yeah.
Okay. Arizona, Arkansas. That could be fun. Oh man, that could be
Arizona.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
Arizona too strong.
Okay. Gonzaga, Purdue.
Purdue at the horn.
Okay. Purdue's in my Final Four, so I'm taking Purdue over Arizona.
I got Zona.
What do you got, Eli?
Boy, that's a tough one. I'll go Arizona.
All right. Again, the bracket killer, Arizona. We'll see. Michigan, Georgia. Michigan. I got them too.
High scoring, but Michigan.
Bama, Akron. We took Akron to upset Texas Tech.
Ooh.
I'm going to go Bama.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Eli, what were you leaning toward?
I probably still lean towards Alabama there, but again, I am very much worried without Holloway for them.
Tennessee, Virginia.
I mean, Virginia getting the upset with that one.
Ooh, I'm going to go Tennessee.
No, Tennessee. My bad. Tennessee.
Oh, you're going to go Tennessee?
Yeah,
Okay, so we got Tennessee. But I'm certainly.
I like Tennessee there, too.
Who do you think the favorite would be in that game? Virginia? Slight
Probably
favorite,
so, yeah.
Santa Clara, Iowa State. I love Iowa State.
Yeah, me too.
I really like this team. Okay. Michigan, Bama.
Michigan.
Me too. Tennessee, Iowa State.
Iowa State in a close one.
I got Iowa State as well. Michigan, Iowa State.
Michigan
in a classic.
Okay. So we have all number ones, don't we? We have all number ones for a second straight year, right? Duke, Florida, Arizona, Michigan. This is the consensus Sports 56 Mornings picks. Duke, Florida.
Me the Dukies.
I'm going to go Florida because of the Duke. The health of the Duke scares me. Arizona, Michigan.
I'll go Arizona.
So you're the one that's different than us.
That's because my Sports 56 bracket is Duke and Arizona in the final.
let's remember that, though, for when this all comes to fruition. Michigan, Florida, Natty.
Michigan.
Go Michigan with that one.
I picked Michigan as my national champions, and I'm going with this. So we got Michigan as the team, and you got to guess at a score, anybody. What do you think? High scoring?
Not too high. Probably, I say 74-70.
Is that good for you? We want to go a little higher. They always seem to go higher. I like your idea, though.
I think somebody's probably there.
144 is what we're going to do. J-Ham gives us 144.
It's not like we're not entering that into a pool, so you don't need a tiebreaker. We're going to tie with.
I'm just curious.
Like who are we going to tie with?
No, I'm just curious how much the total points will be. I'm trying to see how this all
I'm with you on the total, because I would be wondering the same thing. Like, how close did we get?
I'll put it away in a little baggie and make sure nobody touches it and can alter it, and we'll see what happens. And then we'll come back and we'll go, man, we were bad.
If only Aiden Holloway would have put his little baggies away. Or his big baggie away, or hid it somewhere better that the narcotics folks could not find it. Folks, if you love playing golf and you want to be able to play golf anytime, really around your schedule and regardless of the weather, well, the Back Nine Golf out in Collierville, that's the place you need to check out. Indoor golf, so it doesn't matter. It's never too hot. It's never too cold. Rain doesn't matter, whatever. And when you become a member, you've got access 24/7. So truly, whenever you want to play, you've got tee times available to you when you're a member at the Back Nine Golf out in Collierville. It's right there at the corner of Poplar and Houston Levy. That's where you'll find it. You can find them online at theback9golf.com/Memphis. You go online, you can see all the information about memberships. You can also make tee times, and it's not just for members. The public can make tee times and go play there as well. If you want a free demo, they'll do that for you just to show you the place, check it out, see what it's all about. It's the same simulators that they use for TGL. It's as top-of-the-line simulators. You can play great courses from all around the world. You can play some of the TGL holes. You can just go to the range and work on your game and get instant feedback like ball speed and other things like that just to work on your game. Again, in a temperature controlled environment. They've got 4 big bays there for you to use, so plenty of room for folks to get on over there. And again, members got 24/7 access to it. Each bay includes a refrigerator, a TV as well. You can bring your own food and drink in to enjoy while you're there at the Back Nine Golf. Get at the corner of Poplar and Houston Levy in Collierville. Go to theback9golf.com/Memphis. Get all the information you need about memberships and everything else. And again, sign up and they'll do a free demo for you to see exactly what it's all about at the Back Nine.
We dive back into the topic of Memphis Tigers basketball with Parthu Pajai when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening is coming to the Graceland Soundstage. Saturday, May 9th at 8 p.m. Jason's thunderous drumming recalls one of the greatest to ever sit behind the skins, his late father, John Bonham of Led Zeppelin. This is as close as you will ever get to letting the lead out live. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Get your tickets today at GracelandLive.com.
Memphis, ready to play golf whenever you want? Now you can. Welcome to Back Nine Golf, Memphis' premier indoor golf facility built for players who never want to leave the game. Open 24/7 for members, Back Nine Golf features 4 tour-level full-swing simulators letting you take on bucket list courses like St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, and TBC Sawgrass without leaving the Mid-South. Grab your friends, book a bay, play a full round, or hit the driving range to work on your game with instant shot data trusted by the pros. Memphis, you don't have to be a member to tee it up. Public tee times are also available. Rain, heat, wind, or daylight doesn't matter. Your tee time is always on. Visit theback9golf.com/Memphis for more information. That's theback9golf.com/Memphis. Back Nine Golf, just off Poplar at Houston Levy. The Back Nine, where golf never sleeps.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
The best I-dos start with Sissy's Blue. Discover bridal jewelry worthy of your big day at Sissy's Log Cabin, along with our spectacular experience that comes with our promise of exceptional quality, service, and brilliant natural diamonds. Experience our expansive selection when you stop by any of our 7 locations or shop online at sissyslogcabin.com. Find your perfect engagement ring only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Listen up, Mid-South. Landers Ford in Collierville says make no payments for 90 days. That's right. During Ford Truck Month, your #1 Ford dealer gives you payment relief. New Ford F-150, 0% APR financing for 60 months. 0 down payments. 0 payments for 90 days. Are you listening? New F-150s, 0% APR financing for 60 months. 0 down payments. 0 payments for 90 days. Get started now with our Landers Easy Pass at LandersFordMemphis.com. Shop one of the largest selections of new Fords before they're sold. It's only once a year. Act now. 0% APR, 0 down payment, 0 payments for 90 days. There's 0 to pay to drive today. Landers Ford in Colliersville. If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2025 Total New Vehicle Retail Sales Report, Memphis Market, with approved credit from Ford Credit. Minimum monthly payment of $1667 per 1,000 finance, regardless of down payment. Interest accrues from inception. Example: 2025 Ford F-150 Lariat. VIN number 1FTFW5L8XSFB43528. MSRP $71,675. Ford bonus cash $1,000. Sale price $70,675. Based on 0% APR financing for 60 months. Price, tax, title, and $695 processing fee. See dealer for complete details. Offer ends 4/2/26.
Men, if you're tired of relying on pills and want lasting, natural performance in the bedroom, Bluff City Health and Wellness offers Apex RF. Backed by clinical research, this discreet 15-minute, non-surgical treatment boosts blood flow, sensitivity, and confidence. No pills, no needles, no side effects. Appointments are filling fast. Call Bluff City Health and Wellness today at 901-800-7606 or take the ED quiz at bchwonline.com. Bluff City Health and Wellness, your confidence in the bedroom naturally.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 9:32 the time. Final half hour for us here on this Hump Day edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Been a fun show, and that's going to continue because it's time to talk some Tigers with Parth Upadhyay.
It's time to talk Memphis Tigers basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is Parth Upadhyay, the Tigers beat reporter for the Daily Memphian. Now here's Parth with Greg and Eli.
Parth Upadhyay from the DM in the flesh. No more trips this year to Rice or to East Carolina, to Birmingham or anywhere else. The season is done. Abruptly ended in Birmingham, unfortunately for you and for the Tigers. A quick trip to Birmingham. How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great. How are y'all?
Doing fantastic. Now the fun starts.
That's right.
Because there's going to be a lot of things happening. Today, Dr. Scott and Coach Penny Hardaway will be meeting the media. Dr. Scott made an appearance yesterday on Parrish's show. We talked about that earlier, his reasoning to keep Penny and really the game plan moving forward. And some of that came from Penny himself.
Yep.
And it seemed to be fine with Dr. Scott, and that's why he's going in this direction. What is the question that you will pose, given the opportunity today, the one thing you really need to know from either one of these gentlemen at the presser today?
Yeah, I think it's a broad question, and Ed Scott kind of touched on it, kind of didn't yesterday on Gary Parrish's show, but, Penny has tore it down and built it back up before, right? Like we saw, a little less than 2 years ago now, where he fired his entire assistants, like pretty much his entire staff before the season began, right? And we've seen him kind of retool, rework, try different roster construction methods. Like, why in year 9? What is so compelling about this plan that Penny Hardaway has presented that Ed Scott believes will work this time around? Is kind of my question.
Was there anything that Dr. Scott said yesterday that surprised you, or or was there what kind of did you take? What was your main takeaway from what he said?
Yeah, I think just this is not so much from Dr. Scott as it's from, Pete Thamel, who broke the news of Penny Hardaway being retained. The fact that it was Penny's plan, right? Like,
I think I broke the news 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, you've been shouting it from the mountaintops. Yes, you have. You said there was no way.
There was no way.
You literally said there was no way.
No way.
But the fact that it was Penny's plan and that he kind of took that initiative and said, hey, this is how I want to fix this. This is my vision, right? And it wasn't so much of Ed Scott or the administration kind of, beating down Penny's door and saying, hey, changes must be made. No, it's Penny kind of doing some introspective work and realizing that, hey, in order to reach the heights that he wants to reach, Dr. Scott wants to reach, and everybody else at the University of Memphis want to reach, like, there have to be some significant tweaks and changes.
What did you think? And I didn't listen to the interview. I just saw the responses from yourself and others. I believe Gary had either asked this question directly or thereabouts, a roundabout way, that the expectation for next season, almost leading to what happens if it's the same type of year, or what happens if they don't make the tournament. And the answer from Dr. Scott was the expectation is to be in the NCAA tournament. So that doesn't answer the question, what happens if they come up short? What do you think, just in kind of your guesstimation as to, and hopefully they're not going down this road and everything gets fixed, but if they have another season like this, or another season where they don't,
this is going to be hard to replicate.
NCAA tournament. Okay, let's just say they don't get to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Do you think, even though there would still at that point be two something left on the contract, million, that a change would be made? Do you think this is almost like an ultimatum in a sense, without being an ultimatum?
I think in a way, right? Just because, like, in this conference, if you don't make the NCAA tournament, that means you've come up way short, because you're not in a Power 4, Power 5 league where you're competing against top 50 KenPom teams. You're competing against, like fringe top 100 teams like South Florida, Wichita State, and Tulsa, and then everybody else is kind of just trash, right? So if you fail to come out of that group and be the champion out of that group and make the big dance, then something has gone wrong with what Memphis has resource-wise and budget-wise and all that.
Yeah.
The one of the things that to me, just from what Dr. Scott said, it feels to me like there is a realization from Penny that he needs help in doing, like, it's maybe more than ever. Like, he's like, understands, like, I can't do this stuff myself. Like, I've got to have these things. Do you think there has been kind of a change in the mindset of Penny, of like this realization of like, okay, yeah, I need some help to do this right?
Yeah, I think so. And I think, we saw him take the first step, I thought, of that couple off seasons ago, right? When that debacle of 23-24 happened, and he kind of had to look inward at that point and figure out what he was going to do, what he was going to do differently. But this season, I think it's been kind of a, I don't want to say a cratering back to earth, but kind of a reality check for him. Like, hey, like, just because, he had a lot of success last season with, 29 wins, a 5 seed, All-American guard, like, doesn't mean that that's just kind of guaranteed. You roll the ball out and you kind of have that success. Like, there are things that have to be in place. And I think Penny realizes that in today's world of college basketball, one individual cannot put everything in place, cannot construct the roster, cannot, monitor the offense, defense, and be the CEO of everything. It's just impossible.
Dr. Scott said that he wants to see these hires within 7 to 10 days, which makes you wonder, because there's an NCAA tournament going on. Teams are still playing. I'm not sure if there's going to be candidates from teams that are still playing, which makes me wonder if Penny already knows who those coaches will be, and they've been discussed with Dr. Scott. I just wonder, because he has had coaches from every level. He's had coaches from the outside, coaches from in Memphis. He still has staff members that are from Memphis. Do you have I'm not asking you for an idea of who they may hire, but the type of coaches, of the 3 assistant coaches, plus a strength coach, but of the assistant coaches, what would you be looking for if you were Penny Hardaway in those 3 coaches?
Yeah, so this is kind of what Penny said, Ed Scott said yesterday on Gary Parrish, and I kind of agree with it. He said that the staffing decisions to fire those 3 coaches, to part ways with them, whatever you want to call it, and the strength coach, Todd Forcier, that was, according to Ed Scott, that was all Penny. It was not Ed Scott saying, hey, you must fire X and replace them with Y, right?
Well, he had to sell him something, right?
He had to sell him something. And
he couldn't say, let's run this thing back.
No, and oftentimes when a season like this happens, like to this extent, like kind of heads have to roll, right? I hate using that phrase, but
if the head coach isn't getting fired, then somebody in the staff,
multiple people usually,
absolutely,
which is what we've seen here,
right?
But what Ed Scott said that Penny told him was that with the 3 vacancies, he said, and I'm reading this quote, he said part of what he said is, I need somebody on offense, I need somebody on defense, and I need an analyst, right? So I think that's kind of what you're going to see. You're going to see like 2 coordinator type roles, and then somebody who can crunch numbers and can kind of modernize the scheme, right, for Memphis basketball.
I'm a little confused with that, with the analyst, because if you're bringing in the GM is taking care of personnel, evaluating, and also with the payroll, for sure, knowing what they can do. You're talking about somebody who's crunching the numbers of the game plan,
yes,
looking at the offense, defense, what they bring to the table.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes
basically
sense.
an analytics person.
Analytics
for
person.
sure.
For the game to game.
Somebody who's living, breathing, and dying the Ken Pom and the Bartorvik and that kind of thing, and figuring out
what lineups are the best.
Exactly.
To Eli's point about it seems like Penny is more. Look, if Penny wasn't receptive, I don't know again if they could eat $6 million or if somebody was going to step up. But he had to give him a game plan.
Yeah.
As long as he's being sincere about it, and I think Penny's a sincere guy, that he wants the help, he's going to get the help. But remember last season, it was, I got to take away some of the stuff from the assistant coaches. I have to put more on my shoulders.
Towards the end of last season,
So he ended up controlling pretty much everything, and it was a bad year. And then the fall guys are the assistant coaches, but they had a lot of their power taken away. So it's kind of
it's a tough balance.
Yeah.
Push-pull there, no doubt.
I hope one of the assistant coaches, or whoever, I guess because he said he wants somebody on offense. I hope they bring his own offense.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, they need that, man.
I hope this coach who coaches offense actually has a offense that will play against the zone and actually put it install it, and have it ready to go for this. The associate head coach that he's talking about. Do you think is that going to be kind of more? Do you think that kind of falls into one of those categories? Or is that somebody more of just kind of like Penny's right-hand guy to be there with him?
I think it falls into one of these categories, but also that right-hand guy to be there with him, the person that sits closest to the head coach seat, right, on the bench, the person that if something were to happen in terms of suspension or anything like that, that person would take over, right, and fulfill the interim coaching duties.
That's going to be, I would imagine, a former coach, head coach.
You would think so, yes.
Right?
Yes. Somebody who's been in that role before.
If you're guessing right now, what players off of this roster will be back?
Man, that's tough.
You ask this every week.
Yeah, I think the 2 Memphis guys should be back. Obviously, nothing's a guarantee. It's still, early. I know they had exit meetings starting, I believe, Monday or late last week, and the portal isn't open until April 7th. So the 2 Memphis guys, Quante Berry is somebody that they are trying to retain, is what I'm told.
Yeah, it's a two-way street because there could be some interest from
no doubt
other schools.
And then Aaron Bradshaw's a tricky one. I think if I had to put a number on it, or there's 8 guys that can return. I think we'll see 4 of those.
Well, speaking of numbers,
4 of the 8.
I think that number has to go down on what you're paying Aaron Bradshaw to keep him.
Yeah, you would hope
it's not going to go up; it's going to go down.
Yeah, and I mean, you would hope that, with the way Aaron Bradshaw was talking about Penny towards the end of the season, like about kind of him being a mentor and a life coach and more than just a basketball coach, like, Penny kind of being patient with AB through that, you would hope that now Aaron's like, hey, I know I didn't have the most productive year. I'm willing to come back at slightly a haircut cost or whatever it may be.
What did you think of the whole Dr. Scott conversation with Gary about the money, the finances? He said that once again, we expect to be certainly number 1 in the conference, but we expect to be the best funded program in all of the group of 6. So that includes, obviously, Gonzaga, which doesn't have football. They're going from the WCC now to the Pac-12 or whatever they're going to call it. Other schools. South Florida right now is in that Brian Hodgson situation, whether or not they're going to be able to retain him.
He might stay.
Because they are going to offer him a lot of money.
Yes.
And I've heard that they are going to infuse that program with more money. So I don't know how Memphis, in a year or two, is going to be able to retain that lofty spot unless there's other streams of revenue that they are being able to bring in. They're certainly going to be one of the top teams, but we still don't know what that means breakdown-wise for what you can offer players. And I bring that up because, again, the Haggerty rumors are out there. We don't know where PJ stands. He was just named an honorable mention All-American, had a good individual season on a bad team at Kansas State. What does he want to do? Is that something that they may look back at trying to bring him in? But financially, you gotta, it's got to be the right moves, because if you go top-heavy with a player or two and they don't contribute, and Haggerty you think would be able to do so, pan out, then what happens with the rest of them? That's why somebody with experience in a GM role can help immensely with that, to try to figure out.
Help kind of divvy up the numbers and figure out what funds to allocate where, so you're not spending too early, or, too late is bad also. If you're holding on to your resources and kind of waiting it out, and then everybody's gone from the portal and you're having to, pay top end dollar for people who are kind of, other teams don't want.
What you're hoping is to pay the top 7, maybe 8. The other 7 guys on your roster are, you don't even look at them as maybe even being contributors. They're just there. But we know that he played 12 guys, 13 guys, 11
14,
guys, 10 guys.
You name it,
That's going to be an interesting thing as well, where they go in that direction. So it's going to be top heavy, but it really has to be spread out a little bit among, I think, the top 7 or 8. And then after that, it's whatever. Here's a stick of bubble gum. You want to play?
I wouldn't fill all 15 like he did last season.
Yeah, they don't have to do that. Yeah,
I would. I would keep a spot or two open in case you want to add a mid-season acquisition. We saw teams do that this season, and we've seen it become easier and easier, right? For
aren't they breaking that? Aren't they cutting that down though? What was the?
There was some rule change. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so that player would have to be off the team. He can't be a current player and pick him up in the mid-season.
It's like a Dante Harris, right? Like he was off of his team at Virginia, and then was
By the way, crushed it for Nolan Smith.
Man,
you'll hear him talk about Nolan Smith if you listen to that interview.
Yeah, exactly. Dante Harris, Baraka, Koji, like some of these guys, PJ Carter, some of these guys should have been kept, man. I know it's easy to say in hindsight, but if they're not starters and they're just guys off the bench, like those guys could have been contributors on this.
But would it have made have made that much of a difference when, again, your stars, the studs that you spent the money on, was Bradshaw, was Doug McDaniel, who was the most consistent player, and Zach Davis, who, we got to be honest, it was a big disappointment. Those were the guys you were banking on, and they just weren't bankable players.
No, they weren't.
This season.
I mean, you would hope that some of the, even the pieces that you bring in and retain that maybe are not top end contributors, like they're good for the culture, right? They can help kind of set the standard, if you will, and kind of push those guys in the front in an ideal world. But,
Forcier made a lot of money, and they got rid of him. I think he's a very good strength guy. So I wonder if they're going to cut back on that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he made $200,000.
Yeah, Ed Scott had some interesting comments yesterday. I'm not saying this was directed at Todd Forcier. I'm sure you heard him too.
Talk about nutrition and everything else, because the players didn't look like they didn't look like Memphis players or something.
And I'm paraphrasing here, but he said if you watched our games and you saw the bodies out there, those did not look like Memphis Tigers basketball bodies. I'm not sure what exactly that means. But,
Did you see any slugs out there? Any fat guys running around?
I mean, conditioning.
Ingram was a little big, right?
Conditioning was an issue for a couple of guys. Yeah.
I wish I had their bodies.
It felt like a shot at
the strength coach. Who else? Yeah.
I mean, basically, we got to look at nutrition. We got like these guys were like famished guys out there in the court and couldn't work. Because I was like, when I saw that, I was like, wow,
you lose, no soup for you.
That seems like a pretty direct shot at the strength program.
Yeah. But Todd's a guy who came from the NBA.
That's what I'm saying. They had to pay him to bring him in.
They brought in a
real quick schedule already taking shape. They added the Iowa State game in South Dakota. There's a few more spots, certainly. They got to have a few more home games because right now, what is it, Utah State and Louisville?
Yeah.
It does appear that the St. Jude Classic event is going to be a multiple-team regular season event. That's what I'm hearing. So that'll be really cool. So we haven't heard anything more about that. But once again, a formidable schedule, which it has to be. And I'm glad that Penny doesn't back down to anybody as far as scheduling. And teams still want to play Memphis.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a dangerous game, though, right? Because you're loading up on the schedule again without really knowing who your roster's going to be. Maybe he has an idea of who he's going to retain, and perhaps that helps. But, maybe you would mix in a cupcake or two. I'm not saying weaken it all the way.
There might be a couple, yeah.
But, like, right now you've got Louisville, Utah State at home. On the road, you've got Texas, Vanderbilt, Baylor, and a neutral site against Dayton. Those are all going to be relatively tough games.
You play, and they never have, but you play a cupcake schedule and roll through the conference and lose in the conference tournament, you're going to be probably in Dayton. You're probably or in Dayton.
Or Dayton.
You're going to be in Dayton
exactly.
or something like that. So you have to play that schedule to try to give you a favorable seed, and that's what happened last year. Last year was perfect up until the tournament, up until they lost.
Yeah.
And again, they'll use the Tyrese Hunter excuse. Some people will use that, but I
think it's a fair excuse. I mean,
it's not
Tyrese Hunter and Dante Harris out. Like
it's not a bad one. It's not a bad one. But that's why I don't look at last year and go, oh man, last year was a good year. It was a disappointing end, but it was a good year.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can't have them every other year. And I'm not saying that's been the run.
Yeah.
But next year, we know the expectations. Then you can't turn around and have a bad. And now it's got to be full on go.
Consistent, yeah.
Because again, once they got denied from the Big 12, it was all about we got to now dominate our conference. And the expectations were they will. And since then, it was only a couple of years ago, they have not dominated. They have not dominated in basketball. They won last year. I get you. I understand.
Yeah.
Football's not dominated. They've been good, but they haven't dominated.
No.
And it's all about domination. Partha Bajai, thank you so much. I'll see you over at the presser today. We'll talk next week.
Absolutely. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
Make sure to read Parth at the Daily Memphian. I want to tell you about Shoot 360 Memphis. It's a revolutionary basketball training facility. Memphis didn't shoot the ball well this year. Maybe they need to get over to Shoot 360 Memphis. I can't guarantee you're going to become the next Steph Curry, but you're going to become a better shooter. I can guarantee you that because of repetition, and then the one-on-one expert coaching. 2 locations, the 50,000 square foot facility. That's in Cordova. Big Orange Road, that number's 901-779-3176. In Collierville, 85 Market Street, that's 901-316-5500. They have the shooting bays with the Shoot 360 technology at the original location in Collierville. You can become a member at both or one or the other, and you can do so on a monthly basis. That's right, month to month. You can't beat it. So give them a call, set up a tour, or just stop by. Go see them at Shoot 360 Memphis. We're back with our final segment. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Let Bryant Dacus and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon. Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's time for the ultimate hot wing showdown at the World Championship Hot Wing Contest and Festival, Saturday, April 18th at the Memphis River Garden Park on Riverside Drive. See over 60 teams fighting for hot wing supremacy along with live blues, soul, and rock and roll, all in support of the Ronald McDonald House at the St. Jude Walk. It's a sizzling day of fiery flavors, live music, and family fun, and you're invited. Get your tickets now at worldwingfest.com. Sponsored by RS Financial Group, ATC Fitness, Road Warrior Staffing, and Universal Access. This is your delicious chance to make a difference.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
Your home is your best investment, so why not make it the best it can be with help from Gates Lumber? Start with your front door, serving 2 purposes, curb appeal and security. Gates has solid construction doors built for security, durability, and beauty. See and compare wood, steel, and fiberglass options side by side at Gates Showroom. It's easier to choose when you can see and touch real doors with real assistance from knowledgeable staff helping you choose the right door for your home and budget. So don't just replace your door, upgrade your protection, and Gates Lumber is the right choice. Family owned and operated, serving you for over 100 years with free estimates, free delivery, competitive prices, and quality products. Call 901-942-3201, go to gateslumber.com, or come by their showroom, 1253 South Bellevue Boulevard. Gates Lumber, celebrating over 100 years with a passion for craftsmanship since 1920.
Hi, I'm Ryan Saharovich, a proud partner with NST Injury Attorneys. For over 35 years, we've been fighting for Memphis families after serious accidents when insurance companies are trying to pay as little as possible. We don't back down. NST is the way to go.
March is known for its madness, and once again this year, that madness could lead to cash in your pocket. UTJ at Classic Arms is so excited about his fall's chances in the tournament, he's partnering with us to give away $98.50 to a lucky winner every time Tennessee wins a game. So cheer on the Volunteers, and when they win, tune into Sports 56 mornings the next day for your chance to win $98.50. Thanks to Classic Arms and Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning! On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Well, we are the kings of the minor sports. We are back number one on that list. Yesterday it was announced that there will be a minor league hockey team coming to the Landers Center in South Haven. So, if you're scoring at home, just recently, we now have a minor indoor football team, not of the regular indoor football league, but the smaller league. We now have a minor soccer team, not of the USL, but the next level USL that'll play at Mike Rose. I'm looking forward to that. I love Carrie Talley, and I think they'll do a good job out there. We now have this hockey team coming to South Haven. Now, this isn't minor, but this is actually good news that came in the last couple of weeks, that the WTA, the Women's Tennis Association Tour, a 250 event is coming to Lethbridge. So that's really good news. Obviously, we still have the Hustle, which Eli is the voice of the Hustle. We still have AAA baseball. The Memphis Redbirds, of course, getting ready to crank up another season. We still get the big boy. We get the big one that we're holding on to. Can't lose them. The Memphis Grizzlies. Am I missing anybody with the minor sports? Because we lost. Obviously, we lost the UFL team. We lost the Showboats. Anything else you can think of?
So the fun part is that, like, right as we were going to break, Dakis asked me that you mentioned the hockey team. I said he's probably going to get to that in this last segment.
He knows me by now. He's been around long enough. Maybe a pickleball team will be coming soon. Maybe we'll get something like that. But there you go. So what I praised it yesterday on Twitter because here's the fact. It's more stuff to do if you want to do it. It may not be your cup of tea, but there's something out there. And I give a lot of people credit for doing this. Yes, it may be minor, but the fact of the matter is it's more, it might float your boat. It's more entertainment options out there. So good. We got a hockey team coming. We got another soccer team coming. We got an indoor football league, arena football league team coming.
Tonight, if you are going down to the Grizzlies game, don't forget it is a 7:30 tip-off, a little bit later tonight, 7:30 rather than the normal 7 o'clock tip-off for the Grizzlies tonight against the Nuggets. Of course, the NCAA tournament, first four, Prairie View and Lehigh, followed by Miami of Ohio and SMU. Of course, with the winner of that game advancing on to take on Tennessee in the first round of the NCAA tournament. So that's going on this evening, but again, 7:30 tip time tonight for the Grizzlies.
Well, tomorrow we'll have a lot more on the presser today with Dr. Ed Scott and Coach Penny Hardaway. Of course, we'll be talking plenty of NCAA tournament as the action gets underway hot and heavy tomorrow as we got the Thursday and Friday, also the Saturday and Sunday of basketball wall to wall. The Grizzlies, of course, in action tonight. We'll talk about that as well on the show tomorrow. Kerry Miller will join us to talk NCAA basketball tournament. Our thanks to DeMichael Cole, to Jerry Palm, and to Parthu Pajai for joining us on the program. Thanks to you folks. We always appreciate you listening, your calls, your texts as well. Waldo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy, for Jay Ham, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great Thursday, everybody.